Hello, Internet. Welcome back to the Fast Travel Lounge. You listen to episode 61. My name is Patrick. I'm joined by Saif and Steve. Say hi, everyone.
Hey, everyone.
Okay, cool. Steve's microphone is muted. Actually, that was probably a good call, Saif. We might actually be able to make it past the first 2 minutes without him saying something stupid.
Should I start screaming? If I'm really muted, I should just start screaming, right? Fine. I'm not going to. Like, I wasn't muted. This is all a trick. You have to wake up pretty early in the morning to trick me.
And we're still on pace for a world record run where you don't say something stupid for the first couple minutes. So why don't we just see just how far this rocket can fly, shall we? Right, what's the preamble for this week, lads?
So Patrick, how are you feeling after getting no sleep playing Neon White for so long?
Well, Seth, if you waited to round the lounge like I fucking told you.
Well, too bad. I'm asking now since you wanted preamble.
Unfortunately, it seems like heroin is only the second most addictive thing you can try once and then get hooked on permanently. Actually, I should see this. So I picked up I picked up Neon White on sale yesterday evening, I should add, and I have a full-time job that I've been working, during the past 2 days, but my playtime is still at nearly 7 hours.
Jesus Christ, man. You didn't sleep last night, did you?
I did, but not enough.
Yeah, no, so, he went till, as far as I'm aware of, he went until 1:30 in the morning trying to beat my time on a stage.
Yeah, but then I did, so, who's the real winner here?
I think we all are, but just getting together.
That's who.
We all are, because we get to have such a good talk with friends, and our listeners are probably the real winners here, actually, now that I think about it. They get to listen
to
the
content. Think about the content. A really real serendipitous moment from whenever our best of 2022 episode was, when I said I'm sure if I played Neon White it would be in my top 5. Yeah, I can I can say with pretty good confidence that is the case.
Hey, remember how you said last week that Elden Ring is pretty strong in its second place? I think it's a little more shaky now.
Actually, that's true. It is a little more shaky. I think real talk though. I feel like we are almost doing around the lounge segment, but the final thing I'll say on Neon White, we'll chat way more about it next week, because as I say, I've only played it for. If I say I've only played it for a day versus I've only played it for 7 hours,
You've only done the first world as well.
Those two sound like wildly different metrics. No, I think part of why I really grasped the game is because you and I have been so competitive on a couple of the levels. So if that weren't the case, I'd probably have a different, not crazy different, but a different opinion on it after playing it for a day. So definitely some circumstances at play.
Having someone fresh there to be competitive with as well is a different feeling, because when I did the first world, it was just like, okay, I see everyone's times. They've all played it a couple months ago. I'll just go and knock them out and get into first place. And then I saw you saying, oh yeah, here's my times. And I'm like, this bitch. I put Neon White on hold for a little bit to finish Tales of Arise. I'm going to load it up and get back those times.
GG, shake my hand.
GG's, shake your hand.
And the best feeling is when you do a level and you're like, oh, I got, I don't know, 10 whatever seconds, and then I see your time, like, holy hell, how did you shave an entire second off of my time? And then 1 hour of swapping first place on the board later, and it's like, oh man, that run felt slow. It was only 8.9 seconds.
Yeah.
Already better than the time I was initially competing. Yeah, crazy. Anyway, we're definitely going to chat much more about this next week. It's gone the same way as how I picked up Hades a couple of years ago. I could see myself just losing a week to this, and in Hades' case, that was very easy because it was New Year's break, so I didn't have anything on. Much harder to do with a full-time job, but hey, we'll see what happens.
I feel like work's going to take a hit. They'll understand.
I think they will understand. Like, the thing is, if they don't understand, it's because their times aren't good enough on the leaderboard. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you know what? That's exactly right. They don't know what it's like.
They don't. And what's even funnier, with my day job as someone very interested in performance and timing of things, I could almost just chalk this up as part of my day job.
It's borderline work. It's borderline work. Isn't everything?
True. It's true. Going to actual Round the Lounge for this week. Seth, other than GG Shake My Handing, what have you been up to this week?
I'm keeping it a surprise until you actually give it to me as a segment, because I know the moment I bring it up, you're just going to shoot me down.
Oh, man, as much as I love that introduction, maybe. Yeah, you know what? Let's just take this offline and circle back. I'm gonna punch you back in the back of the head. Let's wait until the game. He actually says the game before we.
Yeah. You thinking what I'm thinking? I'm thinking we dunk on a nerd for bringing up Final Fantasy 14 again.
It's gonna be whatever. It's fine. He's probably just got a list of things he's done. And he's just gonna read it off.
and you know what? It's our duty to make sure he never finishes that list.
Look, it'll take it as long as it takes. It's probably 3 things on the list, and it'll take him 4 years to say it.
I'm actually going to say I'm going to try and keep it relatively short.
Yeah, all right.
In saying that, it'll probably go to half an hour because you guys will keep interrupting me.
That's the thing, Seth. This isn't about you anymore.
You know what? You're right. This isn't about me anymore. This is going to be about ruining the podcast.
Ruining the podcast, even.
We will do our best. I'm
the one ruining the podcast, not you guys.
Yeah, of course. That's what I meant as well.
yeah, same. Anyway, Steve, what have you been up to this week?
Borderlands 3. Yeah, remember when that game came out?
Nice and recent.
Yeah, no. Well, Tiny Tina's came out last year, so then I was like,
true.
you know what? I really need to play the game before that. It came out in 2019, so it's not that old. 4 years now, but it's 2023, eh? But yeah, pew 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 pew. That's half the sounds in the game because there's a lot of guns in that game.
I feel like you have one of those little farmyard spinners, and it just spun, and it spun to the farmer's gun, and that's what the gun sounds like.
The gun says pew 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 pew.
Yeah, exactly like that.
But yeah, no, that's what I've been doing. And what have you been up to, Pat?
I have been feeling a little strange about life. Life is strange. Sorry, I was joking. I saw Alfred's bloody Sonic Frontiers mod thing, and he drops the Saul Goodman
nice.
meme line. So I'm sorry for trying to make that happen to Life is Strange. I've been playing Life is Strange too. Not as well, like the second one, like Life is Strange. But actually, no, not the second one because that was before the storm. Life is Strange. Fuck, they really screwed their naming, huh?
Yeah, no.
Well, Life is Storm is the sequel. It's not necessarily number 2.
And it is also Before the Storm, which I don't know what number that released in.
But it was Before the Storm.
Yeah, that's what we just said.
Oh,
did we?
I thought you said something else. Like you made it sound like it was a sequel, but Before the Storm's a prequel.
I might have said sequel, but I meant prequel. Come on, Steph. Doing this for 61 episodes, you can't read my mind. Come on, big fella.
The strangest part of life. And so the thing is, the listeners will chuckle because there wasn't really a minor spelling mistake there, but what they don't know is that the group chat has devolved into people grammar Naziing each other. It's honestly kind of impressive.
It's been a problem for about a week.
No, longer than a week. I've been avoiding that like the plague.
Yeah, and it's gotten to the point that if I make a spelling mistake with my boss over Teams, I say it. Yeah. But if I just talk to my boss and make a spelling mistake, I just type in spelling mistake. And she's like, good catch, I guess.
I don't like the idea that you're practicing for the group chat at your work.
Yeah, both talk at the same time. Spelling mistake.
Podcast mistake.
The fact that it's gone into your actual work life is kind of insane.
It all blends into one. Perpetually online.
He's on track. Anyway, yeah, I've been playing the second Life is Strange game, but it's not the second one. It's actually the third one, but it's called Life is Strange 2. And so, finished that, wrapped that. I have some thoughts. We'll get into that. Should be good. All right. Why don't we just rip the Band-Aid off and figure out what surprise Seth has in store for us. Although I will say, if it's anthrax, you have to tell us it's anthrax.
It is not anthrax. But it might feel like taking anthrax for you guys.
Let him finish.
Okay, so what I'm
I'm waiting.
What I'm bringing to the table is that over the weekend I decided to get back into WWE. So I watched the Elimination Chamber.
See, wait. You mean like pay-per-view? I thought you meant the games, because the games are sick.
Yeah, no, the pay-per-view.
Oh, God, that's so much worse.
Yeah, no. And
come on, man.
I'm just going to say it right now. Holy shit, that was an awful time to get back into wrestling.
You mean wrestling?
Yeah, wrestling.
Is it wrestling like different where they got the leotards and stuff, where wrestling is just that fake shit on TV? I've seen that episode of South Park.
Yeah, it's such a good one.
It is. It's actually a fantastic episode. But yeah, no. So, like I said, I'm going to try and keep this short and sweet. I'll just bang through some points I wanted to make about it. Elimination Chamber is like one of the worst pay-per-views to watch for WWE in general. It's been like 3 years since I've watched wrestling, and I still remember that Elimination Chamber is this weird middle ground between Royal Rumble and between WrestleMania, where they want to make people watch a pay-per-view and get their money for it, but they're too scared to make any grand changes to their narrative because they're already set in stone what they want for Elimination Chamber. So I guess I'll just get straight to the main events then. WrestleMania is built to have Roman Reigns as the champion going against Cody Rhodes, and since they need a pay-per-view match for this, they go, okay, we'll just throw in a small feud with Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn being a super big crowd favorite, and this was in his hometown as well. This match was in Montreal, and him being Canadian.
French Canada, yuck.
Yeah, and him being Canadian,
French Canada is best Canada.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that.
That was another South Park reference. Oh, fuck's sake.
Oh. Uh-huh. All right, we made our one. We're sponsored by South. We're sponsored by South Park now, right? Oh, how about that? How about Prince Harry? That episode. Yeah, it doesn't say no. Anyway, and sorry, Seth. Continue.
Sami Zayn came out to like the biggest cheers I've heard in a very long time. Like the crowd was electric for him. And Roman Reigns.
You just said you haven't watched wrestling for 3 years. No shit, it would be the biggest cheers.
It's been like one of the best ones in like 10 years, like best reactions in 10 years I've seen. The last time I remember like a crowd being this electric was CM Punk going against John Cena in like 2011, 2012. And just as equally, Roman Reigns, he got like a huge negative reaction where for like 3-4 minutes straight, the crowd was just chanting "fuck you, Roman" over and over again. It really felt like that if Sami Zayn had lost the match, someone was going to get stabbed.
And naturally, because this was in Montreal, they didn't actually play wrestling. They played ice hockey in the wrestling ring, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. How did you know the twist of the match?
What can I say? Wrestling.
But yeah, because WWE is too scared to change their WrestleMania plans, Roman Reigns ends up winning the match.
Oh shit, someone got stabbed?
No, they ended up like, the finish started blanketing people to be ready for Sami Zayn to lose because it was a stellar match all throughout. Both people were putting like their bodies on the line and like just giving a great performance. And about the last 5 or so minutes, they start doing all the bullshit of here's a bunch of people starting to interrupt the match. Referees are getting knocked out so people can come in and take cheap shots. And it started going the way of, oh, here's where they're going to send Sami Zayn's next feud for WrestleMania, so he's not going to win. And people just kind of slowly started accepting that he was going to lose.
Isn't it all fixed anyway?
It is, but wrestling is a hard thing to describe sometimes because people are like, yeah, it's fake. And it's like, yeah, we know it's fake, but it's like the stories and the decisions that go into those things. And sometimes you want to see a twist in the story to go in your favor, especially when it's like something that would lead to a really great match down the line. Like Sami Zayn versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania for the championship would be an excellent match. But WWE is also kind of that company that's too scared to do a good guy versus good guy storyline. They want WrestleMania to be the massive good guy versus bad guy storyline that you're going to see for the year.
Well, that's a tale as old as time. It's the easiest media to consume, and the good guy always wins.
Yeah.
You ever seen a Marvel movie?
Yeah,
they're pretty good. Because the good guy always wins. And as a good guy, I can put myself in the position of an Iron Man or a Captain America.
Or a Thanos.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, he won at the end of Infinity War.
He did? Yeah. Don't believe me?
Every now and then, wrestling will have that Thanos 1 moment.
Holy shit, people dissolve into triangles?
No, it just ended. It was Brock Lesnar ending The Undertaker's undefeated streak.
Mr. McMahon, I don't feel so good.
Oh, no. That one was Vince McMahon screwing over Bret Hart in 1998, I think it was.
Look, I don't know a single word of what you're saying. My only interaction with wrestling is my friends, like a family friend when I was 5, would watch it, but I wouldn't watch it because I didn't live with them. And I'd wrestle when they go over to their house, and I accidentally broke one of his collarbones. And we weren't allowed.
He has another one.
Yeah, well, we weren't. He's 5 years old, man. I'm beating up kids, even though I am a kid. But then not only was we weren't allowed to play wrestling anymore. He wasn't allowed to watch it anymore. Oh, that's funny. And he started. I don't know what wrestling is.
Into injury so badly they're not allowed to watch wrestling anymore is something that's always a treat.
I was 5, and he hated me for it. He probably still does. Sorry, Ben. If you're listening. I haven't seen you in 20 years. But all the best.
Yo, you know what we need? We need the rematch. but if he wins, he can start watching wrestling again.
Well, if he wins, he takes my spot on the podcast and he just talks about wrestling.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
How many catchphrases does he have?
As in me or my friend?
No. Your replacement. I'm kind of on board with this.
I don't have a catchphrase this episode. Should I do one?
No.
During your segment, you'll think of one.
I'll just start talking to myself. All right.
Always has been. Oh yeah, interesting. I'm kind of. I can see where people who enjoy wrestling come from, because I really enjoy the performance and dedication it takes to put on a show like that. I'm just not a big fan of the end result of how dramatized it gets for TV.
Yeah, and that's where the last match I'm going to mention kind of take a turn for it. And WWE is the bigger one for this. I've seen a little bit of AEW, and they don't dramatize as much. They're more of a purely wrestling focused company, while
purely wrestling.
Yeah, while the big E in WWE is entertainment, and that's always going to try and rear its ugly head into these events. But yeah,
it's almost like as if they exist to make money, and they'll make money by entertaining.
Yeah. Basically it. They pride themselves on being redneck anime.
Well, okay, yeah. Is wrestling borderline Western anime?
I'd say so.
Yeah, it's the overlap between people that like wrestling and the people that like anime is borderline a circle.
There's also a huge overlap between people who like wrestling and people who like fighting games.
Interesting, and that's because wrestling is a fighting game. But like when you go to like Supernova, the Australian Comic Con, essentially, they'll always have like a ring set up in the middle, and some no-names Australians will be wrestling. I always find it weird. Like I think I speak for everyone when us gamers aren't exactly the most athletic in the group. Where wrestlers usually are these very big dudes. How's the female wrestling going? Actually, Ronda Rousey was in that.
Well, that's what I was going to get to next.
See, what a segue and a half.
So the Elimination Chamber, they make a pay-per-view, so they have an excuse to have like the big Elimination Chamber sets just out, because it's expensive to move across to arenas, so they can just reuse it multiple times in the event and just make a big show of it. It used to be just a men's event, but women wrestlers have been getting more and more equal, I guess, in terms of performance, and like being treated as fairly as the guys are. So there was a women's Elimination Chamber match, and that went over pretty well. Honestly, there wasn't a whole lot to say about this. Like some of these matches, I'm just going to quickly run through. But yeah, the women's Elimination Chamber match, pretty good match. Wasn't excellent, wasn't boring. Just overall decent. Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar was a match that was getting hyped up. It ended in under 5 minutes by disqualification, and they've already moved on with the storyline. They're not going to have a rematch. It was just a alpha male versus alpha male match. Bobby Lashley looked good. Brock Lesnar had to resort to kicking him in the balls, and that's the end of their storyline.
Man, that's a real kick in the nads.
It is. It was a hugely deflating way to end the match, and I feel bad for people that spend money to go to the arenas hyped up for these events, and then they pull that shit.
And then see Brock Lesnar kick another guy in the balls.
They get a less than 5 minute squash match that amounts to nothing, and it gets dropped off the face of the earth after that.
Okay, so 2 things here. Number 1, was it actually a ball kick? And then follow up, number 2, how much are the wrestlers told before the match that what's going to happen? Like if someone tells me that I'm going to get kicked in the balls in my fight, I'm going to be like, yeah, cool, let's get this over. Like, I'm scared.
It's not a real kick to the balls. Like, they play it up. Like, Brock Lesnar basically just lifts his leg up from towards that area, and then
and like the way that the camera pivot,
do a bit of a jump to make it look like it was a huge impact.
Okay, and like the way the camera looks, it's like, whoa, I didn't see foot to ball contact, but it's
it's
area.
implied
it's probably wearing
to ball
cups and everything.
Yeah.
Man
as far
gets
as
hit by
what wrestlers
football.
know for their matches, I think they know big spots that are going to happen and how to finish. But in between those spots, they kind of like have to communicate to each other in the ring, and that's where like chokeholds and stuff come really useful, because they can kind of whisper into each other's ears what to do next.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I've never really watched a wrestling match. It's a big song and dance performance.
Next match after that was a tag team match. Not much to say about that besides Edge and Beth Phoenix were the winners of that match. Edge looks old as fuck because he is old as fuck. I think he's on his way out to retirement soon, like proper retirement. And he's just kind of like making one final run in WWE before he has to hang up his boots for good. And the last match for the night that I'll talk about is the men's elimination chamber match. It was actually so fucking good. There was some amazing spots throughout it. Everyone kind of like just threw their bodies, caution to the wind, just doing everything they can to put on an excellent show. And it was a great 5 out of 5 star match that got tanked to a 2 out of 5 at the very end, because like I said before, the big E of entertainment kind of rears its ugly head into this, and they want to push Logan Paul into WrestleMania. So he came in right at the end to ruin the results of the match.
Gotta wonder how much he gets, or if he gets paid for it.
He does. He gets
need
guest appearances get a big chunk of money, and I'm pretty sure Logan Paul will be charging them a lot of money for his appearances because he's such a great con man, allegedly. But yeah,
don't worry. We have the CoffeeZilla report to take the allegedly away from that statement.
Oh yeah. He did it. He did one of the wrestlers' finishing moves to them, where it's like they're kind of like on the ground, like just holding themselves up with their hands, and he runs up behind them and puts his foot on the back of their head and smashes it down onto the ground. And people were going, "Oh yeah, he really wishes that he could have done that to CoffeeZilla right now instead of a wrestler."
True.
But yeah, Logan Paul getting involved with the match just absolutely ruins the match vibes for me. It was really disappointing to see such a great match ending that way. And yeah, so it's just Elimination Chamber is just kind of like a really shitty event to come back to. But yeah, that's me done. That's WWE done. I didn't want to spend all too long on it.
Neither did we.
Wow.
So hang on. Okay, no, that was actually quite harsh for me to say, provided my next question gets the answer I'm expecting. Will you be watching another one?
Oh yeah, I've already watched the episode of Raw that happened afterwards, and I'm going to keep up at least until WrestleMania.
Oh, I expected the opposite of that. Okay, well, I guess
I already know that Elimination Chamber is the lowest point of the year for WWE, and WrestleMania is the highest point.
Oh, WrestleMania. What's SmackDown then? Wasn't actually? You know what? I don't know.
SmackDown is the other weekly show. They do Raw. Okay. They do Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, where they train up people and have more of the indie circuit people that they gobbled up show up there.
Okay.
And that's why back before the games got. Actually, I'm not sure if the games are shit now, but I know that there have been a couple real stinkers in there. But like SmackDown versus Raw as a wrestling game was always very entertaining.
Yeah, no, they were very good games, and then 2K ate them up, and that's when they started going to shit.
I remember making...
I hear the last one was really good after they took a year off.
Cool. I'm not coming back, but I don't remember which one somewhere between 2009 and 2012. I don't quite remember. But one of my favorite moments is giving a character the item specialist. I don't know what you'd call it, trait, ability, whatever you want. And then, you didn't even have to give it to him. Some wrestlers would just have that. Like, I remember Triple H had item specialist. And so it meant that you could get a ladder. He'd put the ladder over his head and then just spin around like a helicopter.
Yeah, that was so fun to do. I'm sorry.
No one can touch you.
Yeah, you just do a helicopter spin and it just fucks up everyone else.
Isn't it crazy that here we are 10 years before the release of Multiverses and yet Taz is still meta? I don't know. It really makes you think.
It's just spin to win, man. Spin
History
to win.
is just one big circle. Yeah, anyway, that's all I really wanted to say. Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, again, I appreciate the performance. Even Logan, I really don't fucking like, especially after all the CoffeeZilla shit, but I appreciate the work he puts into the performance he gives. So I don't like the guy, but you gotta respect his hustle when it's not hustling people out of money. Anyway,
Respect the grind.
If you're good, Seth, then I guess we move on.
Yep, good to move on.
Sweet. All right. Life is Strange 2. Life is Strange 2. How do we break this one down? So as I tried to get to and around the lounge, it's the third game, but it's called the second one because of the prequel. First of all, have either of you played either Life is Strange 2 or any Life is Strange game?
I have not played any of them.
I believe about 4 weeks ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, maybe 8 weeks ago. You tell us. I reviewed Life is Strange Before the Storm. And then
Yes, you did.
after that,
That's right.
I went and watched Life is Strange 1 on the internet. So I'm quite refreshed on my Life is Strange lore, but I have not played number 2.
I like the idea that you could just go to YouTube and just type in Life is Strange and you could just find any video. Like not even from the game, but just people being fucking weird.
Life is Strange.
Yeah. Haha, I'm so quirky. How about that? Yeah, right. So, Life is Strange 2, I probably should know when it came out, actually. Shit. Can I look that up quickly? Came out in 2018. Wow. Holy cow, that's still like 4 or 5 years ago. Anyway, right. So it's a completely separate story to Life is Strange 1 and Before the Storm. You follow the two brothers, Sean and Daniel. It's 5 episodes to the same format as the other 2 games. I haven't played True Colors. It's in the list of things to play eventually, but I'm not rushing to
Well,
it.
there goes my question. I was
good.
going to say for the end.
Figured I'd preempt that one because True Colors being out more recently, me talking about Life is Strange 2, I'm sure there's someone who happens to have played all of them that'll be like, oh, but True Colors does it this way and it's better or worse. So the 5 episode format.
I too like to make up a guy and get mad at them.
What a strange thing to say.
A very Life is Strange thing to say. So you follow 2 brothers. Basically, something happens. Your dad dies, and so you have to be on the run from the cops. And your grand plan is to flee to Mexico, like basically every film ever. So the 5 episodes are split across the journey, getting from Seattle down to Mexico.
Big journey.
It is a big journey. So the difficulty in where I land on this, if you'd asked me what I think of Life is Strange 1, for example, I'd say fantastic. The weird part is whether or not I recommend people go and play it, because Life is Strange 1 is getting to the age now where you can tell it inspired a lot of games, but I don't know if it holds up. Like, I could go back and play Life is Strange 1 now, and I would enjoy it, because I know that I've already played it and enjoyed it in the past. I don't know if someone who's never played a Life is Strange game playing Life is Strange 1 now would enjoy it as much as, say, I did when I first played it.
Question on that. Let's say someone hasn't played Life is Strange 1, but they've played The Walking Dead or any other game that's in a similar ballpark to those type of episodic format games. Do you think you could recommend it to someone that enjoyed those?
Yeah, I'd say so. Walking Dead's an interesting one because I think it's in my Steam library, but I haven't played it. But it's kind of similar with like Tales of the Borderlands, right? Which I have played. And it's
basically anyone that made one of those type. I think it was all the same studio. I forget what their name was.
Telltale, no, they're not. They're different.
Telltale, yes.
So as someone who played The Walking
Life
Dead,
is Strangers don't know.
I know Life is Strange isn't Telltale, but like Telltale was Walking Dead.
Yeah, it was
Tales
Walking
from
Dead
the
and
Borderlands.
Tales. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, so they're the first Tales from the Borderlands. They're not the second, because the studio went bankrupt and it's somebody else.
There was a big, kerfuffle with them.
Yeah.
It was the whole thing. You had to be there.
They exist again, but not really.
So here's the interesting part with recommending it. It should be an easy thing to say yes to, but even then, it's not a good apples to apples comparison. So let's take Tales of the Borderlands, for example. It's just because I haven't played or really seen much of The Walking Dead that, I don't know, that can be an entire other kettle of fish. I don't want to jump to conclusions on that one. But Tales of the Borderlands, I really liked the writing of Borderlands 2 specifically. I talk about it how it's one of my favorite games, definitely still is. And so when a game like Tales of the Borderlands is announced and comes out, I am already in a good space to think that I will enjoy this game, and then I play it and I do enjoy it. It's just how it works. The thing with Life is Strange 1, and to a lesser extent Before the Storm, I think, although I don't remember the story as well in that one. I remember a couple beats. I mean, we talked about this when you were going through it, Steve. Life is Strange 1 focuses very much on the experience of a high school student.
Max Caulfield.
And so when I played it, I was only maybe a year, maybe 2 years out of high school. So a lot of the experiences were still not necessarily relevant because there's a lot of shit that happens in that game that I've never.
Like some stuff.
Actually, no, that was the part that I related to the most, actually, Seth.
Is there something you want to tell me? How many times have you recorded this episode?
That's why he's such a good host. It keeps doing it.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? It's just like Groundhog Day, where God will only let me continue with the episode when I get Steve to not make a shitty hey everyone start statement at the start, and I'm still being punished for that.
Good luck, sir. Good luck. I wish you all the best.
I have dread to think how many times you repeated all the other episodes we've done before this one. If those were the ones that he let through.
Let's just say Spoiler Cast was not the only one lost to time. So the reason for my hesitation of recommending it is that, at least in my case, in my specific case, I'm now many years out of the lived experience of anyone near a high school. Don't make a grown man near a high school joke, please. And so it's okay because I have played it through. That I have the rose-tinted glasses to go back through and play it again. But it would be difficult to say, oh, you really liked the writing of Borderlands 2 and you played Tales of the Borderlands. Yeah, you're gonna love playing as a high school student. You know, because it's a different thing. It's a very enjoyable game, sure, but I don't know if I could recommend it. And it's really weird because it's a very good game, but it's just one of those, I don't know if it has the same staying power. So that also serves as a good preamble because you play as Sean in Life is Strange 2, who is also, shock horror, a high school student.
Shocked.
Crazy plot twist. And so a lot of what you do through Life is Strange 2 is in a similar kind of, parts of it are sort of slice of lifey, like being part of a dormitory styled high school thing like Life is Strange 1. And all of this is to say that broadly, Life is Strange 1 is a good experience throughout. There are bits that are the faults that it may have had are isolated to particular parts of the game, but each episode overall holds up. That is not the same case in how I played Life is Strange 2. And that's why it's really difficult to kind of talk about it, because there are 5 episodes. The game overall was dragged down pretty heavily by how it wrote episodes, definitely episode 2 and parts of episodes 1 and 3. And so it makes it difficult, because if you ask me what I think of Life is Strange 2 at the end of episode 3, I'd be like, kind of mid. really sort of take it or leave it type game. But then it really picks up in episodes 4 and 5. And since having finished it, I'm still thinking about the ending because of how, not necessarily how much I enjoyed it, but like it
had impact.
It did. Like all of the Life is Strange games are kind of built around having an impact because they try and meet you on a level of shared experience that you may have had or that can empathize with. And then they kind of weaponize that in storytelling, and it's generally very effective.
So I want to get this thought out. I know you don't have experience with it because the game's done. You played it all back to back.
Yeah.
I just wonder what it would have been like at the time where it's like you're playing episode 1, weekly, it's good.
Or releasing not weekly, but like releasing in chunks.
Yeah, just releasing them in chunks. It's like, yeah, episode 1's good, episode 2's a little bit less, episode 3's really mid. And then do you really want to come back after that and hope that it gets better, or because it's been on a downhill trend, you're like, you know what? No, I'm just going to cut my losses and stop here because it's not worth it.
Yeah. And
it's a really interesting thing to think about with those episodic formats.
It is. And I can definitely appreciate why someone wouldn't come back after going through some of those episodes. So maybe I should talk through what it is that got hard about the first couple episodes. I don't think there will be anything that's spoiler heavy.
Look, the game came out quite some time ago.
It did. I'll spoil parts of episodes 4 and 5 because I want to build that into why it brought the game back. But the broad strokes of episodes 1, 2, and 3, your dad dies, you go on the run, and the problem that the game faces is that Life is Strange 1 was great because it set up a system where if there was danger, your entire how your power worked was designed around the danger is here, but you do not feel the danger yourself because it's kind of like a sandbox. You can do something and then rewind it and then try something else, and it's fine. The consequences aren't meaningless, but they don't require you to constantly think and figure out what the devs would intend by giving you a choice. Immediately, because the power is telekinesis rather than time travel, it completely changes how Life is Strange 2 works, where your brother has this telekinetic ability that he finds out after watching his dad get shot. It's a whole thing. And so, 1, you don't have access to the power, and 2, telekinesis probably would get you burnt on the stake as a witch or put in a government lab somewhere.
Yeah, it's not the same consequence altering just like time travel is. Like, and the idea with the Life is Strange 1 is that if you do something and you either don't like the outcome or it's
not even not liking the outcome. It's just I want to see what the other option is.
Yeah, and there was those two elements to it, and that's what I really liked. Like there's that one scene in Life is Strange 1 where you're like rummaging around Chloe or one of the other characters' stepdad's place, and you knock over like a vial of ink or something, like accidentally, and it's like, oh shit. So then you wind back the clock and then you redo the event and then you don't knock anything over. But then there's the alternative to you've said something that's pretty rude to someone and they're like, oh, you know what, fuck you. And then the cutscene's over and you're like, oh, I like that person. I want them to think I'm cool. So then you rewind that thing and you don't say something rude to them. Like, there were definitely those two sides to Life is Strange 1, and telekinesis is not, it doesn't lend itself to that same creativity.
Yeah. And so the difficulty that the writers paint themselves into here is that let's talk a couple really, really broad points in episode 1, because that is nicely segmented in terms of how it told its story. So first part of episode 1, you're milling about at home, being a typical high school kid, wanting to go hang out with your friends. Your annoying younger brother gets you into trouble, the family conflict, blah, blah, blah. Suddenly, a whole bunch of shit escalates, your dad dies, you're now on the run. That's end of Act 1, Episode 1. It's a 3-act thing. Act 2 is you're on the run, you're in the middle of the woods somewhere, just walking along a state highway with your brother, and you're camping. And the problem is, you are still in danger, but the game is trying to give you these moments of, now you get to explore the relationship with your brother. You get to go camping in the woods. You got to go fishing and hang out and play hide and seek. And through all this, you're like, right, but we're still in very present danger. It's a miracle that we're not currently locked up because of consequences that could happen. And so it's weird that the game is trying to give you this sort of false choice of, no, don't worry, there's no danger here, I swear. But then also, is there danger or isn't there? Because all of the storytelling is propelled by the fact that there should be danger.
It's giving you a moment of respite that you don't necessarily need because it's star wiped the danger.
Exactly. And then Act 3, you approach a gas station and there's a whole bunch of things that do have consequences, like, do you try to steal something from the store? Do you beg for food from a family that's just there and visiting? Do you converse with the friendly old lady behind the counter? And things will happen where, part of the story that gets propelled forwards is that she recognizes you from watching the TV. So she threatens to ring the cops because she knows who you are and she knows what you've done. And it's just what am I supposed to be doing here? Am I trying to survive, or am I trying to explore happy relationships and exploring all the options and seeing, kind of playing it like I would play Life is Strange 1? And that conflict, in terms of how I want to play the game, gets worse in episode 2 and then starts to pick up again in episode 3, but not quite enough to recover yet. So that's biggest con part 1 in terms of just the way that the game wants you to play it doesn't feel natural, or at least doesn't feel natural to me, because me putting myself in Sean's shoes, it's like, well, I wouldn't do any of this. I would, I would be focusing on this thing, and this thing, and the game just doesn't let you do that. The game's like, you should go play hide and seek with your brother.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's trying to do two different things.
It is a little bit.
They don't meld well. Like, it's too many themes, too many. Not even too many things. It's just two different things that are polar opposites. It doesn't frame that very well.
It's trying to do a couple small things really well, but the couple small things that it's trying to do pull you in two completely different directions. So that's major con 1. Major con 2, I fucking hate with a passion Daniel, your younger brother, for the first 3 episodes.
Oh boy, here we go.
So I have 2 younger brothers and a younger sister, in fact. So it was interesting playing Life is Strange 2, thinking how much of this is going to appeal to me. And in almost every case, it was I, as Sean, would make this decision, which I could see myself making if this were me and my brother in this situation. And Daniel is just the most annoying piece of shit the whole time. And this is
where give me attention.
Kind of. So that's part of it. And the other part is this is, again, more of a writing issue rather than a gameplay issue, but because of so much of Life is Strange is based on the writing, the writers, again, fucked themselves over here, where this is why episode 2 sucked the hardest. So much of episode 2 is Sean saying, Daniel, I really need you to not do something stupid for 5 minutes. You have powers. People will see you if you use them, and then bad things will happen. And Daniel goes, I know, I will be careful, get off my back. And then as soon as that conversation happens, it's almost like a timer appears on the screen where you've got 5 minutes before Daniel goes and does something stupid and then acts surprised that it went wrong. It's just, like, you can tell. And the further
away you get from him, the faster it ticks.
But you can just tell, like, as soon as there's anything that comes up like that, it's just like, oh no, this is going to happen. So like you escape episode 2, part of episode 2, you escape to your grandparents. You go meet your grandparents, and it's nice. They say, oh, we know what happened. We understand the situation that you're in. We even know about Daniel's power. We're fine with all of that. How would you like to continue living in our idyllic little town? And so Sean, your character, is like, oh, fuck yeah, that sounds awesome. But of course, there's 3 episodes of the game left. You know that's not going to last. And so Daniel runs off next door, and you find out that Daniel's been showing his power off to the kid next door, and he's convinced the kid next door that the kid has powers.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man.
And so there is a decision where you can tell Daniel, hey, stop lying to the kid next door, or you say nothing. And I said nothing because there's sort of a whole bunch of other stuff happening with the kid next door and everything else. But, and this is why it was so funny, the end of episode 2, someone spots Daniel in the Christmas market, where Sean specifically said, Daniel, don't go to the Christmas market, we'll get spotted. And Daniel's like, no, but I really want to go. They go to the Christmas market, they get spotted. Fucking wow, who could have seen that coming? And so then a whole bunch of cops arrive. Your grandparents go, you can't stay here anymore. We'll buy you time. You need to leave now. They start running. A police car spots them, drives towards them, and then the kid next door jumps in front of the car and tries to use the superpowers.
Fuck off.
And just gets fucking dropped by the car. And the thing is, the game is trying its hardest to make you think, oh shit, this is a really tragic, terrible situation. But I was laughing so hard for like 5 minutes at just the stupidity of the whole thing.
Well, it's probably how it's presented. That seems like fucking intense. And you're probably a monster for letting it go. But that is an interesting way to present it. But I can see that's literally a series of unfortunate events.
And so the thing is, right? You get to the end of that.
I kind of feel like once you know that you can stop it, but you didn't, you know where that's going to go, and you kind of mentally prepare yourself for this kid's going to do something extremely stupid and get himself killed.
So the kid doesn't die. Should point that out. Very anti-dead kids.
So it's not as brave as David Cage and Heavy Rain.
It's like, yeah, man. Jason! Jason! Man, no, that's a game. They got to bring that back. Yeah.
No, not that brave. He gets injured by the car, but it's just like the whole thing. The whole thing is you're in an idyllic little like small town where no one recognizes you, and you spend a couple hours there, and then in the span of 15 minutes, everything goes to 11, and then your neighbor is hit by a car. It's just like, holy fuck! Just all of this happened because I, as Sean, told Daniel, "Hey, don't do this," and Daniel went, "Sure thing, bro," and then does that.
Yikes.
And the same thing happens at the end of episode 3.
All right, Patrick. You just said you have little brothers. I also have little brothers. You know the moment you tell them not to do something, they're going to go and do it. That's just
fine.
very accurate.
All right. Seth, I'm a level with you. That part is accurate, but I would like to...
But you're still allowed to be pissed at it.
Well, one, I am still allowed to be pissed at it, and two, I don't know about your brothers. Neither of my little brothers have like telekinetic abilities brought on by watching our dad get shot. So,
you should have said psychokinetic. You were close. I saw you started a spelling mistake.
So I'm really hoping that if I tell my little brother, I know you have telekinetic abilities, but please understand, people will think you are weird if they see you do that in public. Please, for the love of God, don't do it in public. That I have the right to be upset when my brother goes and does it in public. Is that crazy?
No. I just want to get across that we, as older brothers, hold the right to be upset about them not listening to us. But we also have to understand that if we say, "Hey, don't do that," they're going to do it. There's no stopping it.
The context is a bit different, though. There's a difference between like being on the run versus my brother being a shithead.
Thank you, Steve.
I think being a younger brother in that situation, they go hand in hand.
I don't want to know, Seth. If your brother is on the run and a shithead, don't want to know.
Getting close to it.
I realize I've been speaking for a while, but I've also been shitting on the game. So let me just quickly run through why it got better towards the end. Episode 4. Episode 4. Okay, so the tagline is, end of episode 3, your brother does something stupid, you wind up split up. Like end of episode 3 is literally, hey, I'm gonna walk inside this house and get our paycheck. Please just sit here for 5 minutes. And then 30 seconds later, one of the henchmen comes in, he was like, hey, I caught this kid snooping around the house, and the kid's like, sorry. You're like, give me the gun, I'll shoot him myself, holy fuck. There's actually a Steam forum, like, God, I fucking hate Daniel, and the description is, I know I'm threatening violence on a fictional kid, I would follow through. So I know I'm not alone in this. So you get split at the end of episode 3. He gets taken to a religious cult and becomes their god because he shows off his powers.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, we've all
automatically more entertaining. So by the time I got to the end of episode 3, I was like, I'm so done with this. I want to see this game out, but I have I do not think this game will impact me. I just want to see how it plays out because it is entertaining. And then episode 4 starts incredibly entertaining with your brother is now the deity of some fanatical religious cult. Like, excellent, fantastic, let's go. And then it actually gets writing right to kind of reel it back in, and Daniel doesn't go off and do something stupid, and you find your absentee mother, and there's like a whole bunch of other stuff that goes on, and it's actually really good. It's really, really well done. And then episode 5 ties everything nicely together. So it really pulls it back in episodes 4 and 5. It's crazy how well it does that. Final thing I want to touch on, all of the choices build up, and this is where the ending comes into it. Final 2 things I want to touch on. One, the ending. All of these choices build up a hidden system for morality, for basically how you have taught Daniel over the course of the game to treat society, and therefore you have a morality of whether Daniel thinks that living like respectfully in society is the way to go, or whether fuck society, it's only about like blood is thicker than water, family is everything, do anything for your brother type thing. So that's cool. And then that's paired with a choice between surrendering to authorities at the border or trying to cross into Mexico. and that choice. And so you've got 4 possible endings. And what struck me is that your brother makes a decision independently of what you choose based on the morality, which I thought was a really cool way to do it. I'm not going to spoil the endings more than that, but I ended up watching all of them after the one that I got, and I think I got one of the best ones based on how the others play out, but all of them impacted me more than I thought they would, just because of how well they wrote the ends, despite how much I fucking hated Daniel through the middle of it. Good lord. And the other one, the one final thing, which is why the chat with Life is Strange 1, there is a tie-in with Life is Strange 1 and Life is Strange 2. When you first boot it, it says, "Did you save Arcadia Bay?" And I remember thinking at the time, obviously I saved Arcadia Bay, because that was canonically... Yeah, exactly. That was canonically the choice I made. But it had been so long. So I played episode 1 back in 2018 when the game came out. And then because of the issues with episode 1 and also other games coming out, I just never picked it up again. And so played episode 1 again to remind myself what happened a year or two ago. And then again, other stuff came out, didn't go back to it. And here I just picked it up from episode 2. I was like, fuck it. I remember episode 1. Let's just keep going. But I forgot about the Arcadia Bay choice because that's the first thing on the save file. And all I did was replay rather than start a new save. And so in episode 5, this was amazing. In episode 5, you meet a character called David, who I don't know if you've put the dots together or not yet, Steve, but it's part of a hippie commune that's living with your mum in Arizona. And it's David, the step douche from Life is Strange 1 / Before the Storm, Chloe's dad.
Yeah, Chloe's stepdad. Yeah. Interesting.
And what's fantastic is he's a completely different character in a completely different setting, and I did not connect the dots at all. But then you see a photo of like Chloe and Max on the fridge, and the dialogue changes based on whether you saved Chloe or whether you saved Arcadia Bay, and he has a phone call with either Joyce, because if you saved Arcadia Bay, then Chloe's dead, or Chloe, in which case Joyce is dead, as well as the rest of Arcadia Bay. But it's my favorite. Life is Strange 2 is a completely different story to Life is Strange 1, but it's one of my favorite tie-ins that I've seen in a series and you don't need to play the earlier games to appreciate the reference that they put in. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a good little niche reference.
Yeah, it's just like, if you've played Life is Strange 1, you're like, holy shit, it's him. It's that guy. And if you haven't, you're just like, he's someone with a backstory. So I do want to give the developers massive props to that, because that took me by surprise and it actually just threw me. It was like, holy shit, that like a whole bunch of dots just lined up, and wow, it was a really cool, I don't know, homecoming moment, whatever you want to call that.
Tie-in.
So yeah, overall, where do I sit on the game? God, fucking. If you remove Daniel, 9 out of 10. No, if you had asked me at the end of episode 3, I probably would have given it a 5 out of 10. But after having played 4 and 5, it goes back up to, I can't give it a 9 because of how much parts of the writing just slog through early on. But 4 and 5 together aren't, with the good bits of the earlier episodes, would easily be a 9. But all up as the experience on the whole, it would unfortunately probably be a 6-ish, 6 or 7. If it sounds like the sort of game that you are interested in, thoroughly recommend playing it, but just be ready.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a younger brother. You're just slamming your head into the desk at every decision Daniel makes. Fuck me. But that's all I really have to say about that. And I say all that I really have to say about that. And I realize I'm speaking for nearly 30 minutes. God damn it. The curse continues. Where's Max's rewind time power now, I ask you?
You said you had it earlier.
I used it all up. Time machine broken. Why don't we move on to Borderlands 3?
Pew, 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 pew. That's me. So Borderlands 3.
This is the worst catchphrase you've had.
Hold on.
Don't worry, dog. You say that every week.
It might get worse.
Wait, I'll just do that.
You're right. This is the worst catchphrase you've had so
far. Yeah, there we go.
So Borderlands 3 is technically
a game of all time.
But it's one of our Borderlands games. as well. So Borderlands 3 is the fourth game in the Borderlands series.
Oh boy, here we go. We're doing this again.
Yeah, we're doing this.
In the same episode, no less.
Well, there's the story of Handsome Jack or whatever. Like, it's in the series.
Didn't Tales of the Borderlands come before this as well? So doesn't that technically count too?
It did.
Technically not. It's different. It's not the same game.
It's a spin-off.
Yeah, spin-off. Yeah, it's very
which is funny because it's a spin-off that introduces the main characters of Borderlands 3.
Yeah, and kills off one of the main characters from Borderlands 2.
Yeah,
there's a different voice actor for one of them for Borderlands 3.
Really? Anyway,
actually, no, one of Tales of the Borderlands characters has a different voice actor in Borderlands 3. That's the one I'm thinking of. Reese, I think it was.
Reese, yeah, he's one of the main characters. Anyway, doesn't matter. So Borderlands 3 it came out in 2019, and I'll just paraphrase it right now. I am a very, very big fan of the Borderlands franchise. I think it is one of those games that it is very simple to pick up, but it's just one of those games that's just so fun. Like, it's not brain dead, but it's just, everything just feels good. And I think you mentioned it a couple of episodes, Pat, like Borderlands 2 perfects what Borderlands 1 does.
Yeah.
It's fantastic how the guns feel, the loot drops, the post-game content, even the DLC are really fun.
I'd also say that they dialed in the writing and the storytelling of Borderlands 2. Like Borderlands 1, there was technically a story there, but the story was secondary to the gameplay. But Borderlands 2, the story felt as good as the gameplay to me. Yeah,
exactly. And that's, well, to wind it back, give the full picture, Borderlands 3 is a first-person action shooter, not in like a first-person Call of Duty sense. It's more of like
shooter.
One of yeah.
Looty shooty.
Looter shooter. And that's because the big premise of Borderlands, and it was pretty much Borderlands 1 that pretty much gave itself this formula, is that the guns are procedurally generated. You've got 5 stages of rarity for guns, and from white to orange being the most rare, white being the least rare. There's also blue, purple, green. And
the Diablo rarity system.
Yeah, essentially. But
Borderlands, it depends on the game, but there's a bunch of other rarities that have been added or tweaked since.
Oh, well, I'm just thinking about Borderlands 3 then. But each gun will sort of do something different. Like you've got some guns that will do like different elemental damage, like corrosive or fire or shock. You got different guns that have either burst fire, rapid fire, or when you even go to reload them, you throw the gun away and it blows up like a grenade, and then like the gun just respawns in you. It's quite interesting to literally just pick up a gun and be like, I literally don't know what this is going to do because I'm not going to be bothered to read its description. Bang, bang, bang. Okay, this either feels good or it doesn't feel good. And Borderlands 3 introduces a new secondary type of system for guns. Like you can press down on the D-pad and you can either switch from rapid fire to burst fire, or switch elemental types, or switch from bullets to, like, some guns have like rockets underneath. And it's pretty interesting. It does give you a bit more variety to it, but there are definitely some types of secondary features to guns that's like, that's not worth it. I'm just going to stick with the normal gun. And that's where the gunplay and the different guns you can get is what makes Borderlands what it is. And Borderlands 3 has made that. It's hard to improve on the perfection of the gameplay that was Borderlands 2, but Borderlands 3 does it in a sense better, but very close to what Borderlands did. Like the difference being, it's introduced a couple of new weapon manufacturers, not weapon types, but manufacturers that do different things. Like some guns do like shockwave damage, and other guns will do like grenade launcher or be sticky grenades and all that kind of stuff. And that Borderlands 3 does do that very well. But it introduces a parkour mechanic as well, and that is fantastic. That is really good. That makes the game feel a lot more fluid, because Borderlands is one of those games where you're not standing and shooting. You're literally running around you're running, you do not stop running. Pew, 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 but you're like running everywhere, you're jumping everywhere, you're just trying to get out of the way of and that really sort of makes it feel really good, because you are pushing through the area, and until you get to the post-game content where things kind of change, it's most enemies fall in like depending on which weapon you've got, in a couple of bullets. The stronger enemies or Borderlands refers to them as badass class. They might take a bit longer or take significantly longer because they've got a significant amount of health. So that's why you're always running around to see if you can sort of avoid their bullet. And you've also got an action skill, which is essentially like a special ability that runs for a certain amount of time, whether it be your summoner, I think it's a skag, or because I chose the gunner, I got to summon like a suit of armor that I pretty much wear, and you do increase damage for a significant amount of time with different weapons. And that's where it really shines. But
Right, hang on, sorry. Who are you playing as?
the gunner, Mose.
Oh, the best. Okay, yeah. Sorry.
The best one, yeah, you're right.
Suit of armor. I was trying to think, just like, what the fuck?
Well, it's essentially a mech that you sort of step in.
Yeah. You summon a mech. You play Titanfall too.
Unironically, yes. Well, technically,
And
yes.
everyone's
Technically,
doing Titanfall except for EA.
Except for EA.
yeah, just cancel it, right? Well, that's interesting. So one of the DLC packs that got released is the director's cut of Borderlands, and I think it cost $10 or something. And this adds an extra skill tree to all 4 playable classes. And the extra skill tree it adds to my class, Mose, is you no longer are in the mech. The mech, which used to be called Iron Bear, is now called Iron Cub, and you fight alongside the cub. So it's essentially you've got 2 players on the map. You've got you and you're controlling yourself, and you've got like the AI-controlled Iron Cub that just goes up to everybody.
I think I know how to explain this, Steve. So in the movie Ratatouille, if that was Borderlands 3, you would be playing as Remy, and you would summon Linguini, and then you'd jump in his hair, and then you'd make a sweet pasta dish. With the director's cut, you are now playing as Linguini, or some would say Luigi. You can now play as Luigi, if you will. And so Iron Cub is now Remy, and so rather than one of you controlling the other, you just kind of chill out with your bro and fight alongside.
Off-topic question, since you brought it up, is Ratatouille a mecha anime?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad we agree on that.
Well, if you have to say that that's an anime, then Frozen's an anime.
No, there's no mechas in that, so it's not an anime.
Oh, is that the definition of anime? So does that mean...
I said mecha anime specifically, so yes.
Oh, so does that... Okay, it doesn't matter. Family Guy in anime? Tale as old as time.
My favorite anime is Cory in the House. God, it's been so long since that was a meme.
Yeah, some might say not long enough. But anyway, so the writing in Borderlands 3 is fucking shit. It is the story boils down to there are these two twin Twitch streamers, and we call them Twitch streamers because they literally are behaving like Twitch streamers, and they're like, "Oh, thanks for tuning into my stream. Here we're going to be killing the Vault Hunter. Yeah, like and subscribe. Don't forget it is the most fucking annoying thing in the internet."
No, isn't it? Be sure to isn't it like and obey?
Yes. Remember to like and obey. That's right. Yeah. And it is sort of. I can see what they're trying to do with a cult of personality, but they do it very shit, and they just repeat the same jokes over and over, and they're not in a good way. And essentially, the humor of Borderlands 3 comes to its sarcasm. There's nothing deeper than that. And while it is funny in certain moments, having every character be sarcastic in every single sentence they say, it loses its impact. But then at the same time, the gameplay for me was good enough to like literally just sort of zone out of the story. I'm like, I don't care. If there was a cutscene playing, 9 times out of 10, I'd pull out my phone. Like, I don't care. Which probably does do it a disservice because one of the main characters from number 2, Lilith, she's a siren. She's got magic powers, essentially. She loses her powers quite early on. And as like, I got invested in her in number 2 because number 2 had much better writing. It sort of felt a bit cheap because I'm like, oh, I don't really care. Something will work out.
Yeah.
I just think it's unfortunate. And it's the same type of issues with the side quests as well. Number 1, there's fucking way too many. Number 2, they all literally become fetch quests. And number 3, the writing is very bad for them. Like it's just bad. Like it's just a lot of it's, do here, we got to dance for a bit, or offhanded sarcastic comment, or deliver pizza. And there's like one mission where you got to like deliver pizzas in a time. It's a side quest. Like they could probably take out the side quest and it'd be a much more better, tighter game because the main quest is already quite long. And half of this is because there are quite wide open spaces, and it does take you a bit of time to get from one end of whichever area you're in to the other. And I initially thought this was a bad thing, but I only thought it's a bad thing because I was doing those shitty side quests. And the side quests are borderline artificial bloat the game because they're shit. Like, I don't mind doing side quests. Like, pretty much the only kind of side quests I enjoy are, and everyone will really laugh at this one, is that one of the side characters is doing a podcast called Mysteriously. And it's like a ghost podcast. And she literally takes you to unique areas, and there's unique interactions with different characters with her. And she's trying to prove that ghosts exist. And those are really good side quests because it's something different. Like, it gives you a bit of narrative on what's going on. Like, you have to investigate certain sites to see how certain people die. Like, it's not just go over there, kill 10 people, come back, or deliver this thing to this guy, then come back. It's not that. And those side quests was good. But that's 3 or 4 side quests out of fucking 50 of them. And they just end up being not very good. But the gameplay is very good. And that's the one thing that really pushed me through. Like, the problem with the gunplay is maybe just because my talent tree, because you level up as all RPGs do these days, and you get skill points. And one of my skill points I put into literally regenerates ammo when I inflict a status effect on an enemy. You're always inflicting status effects on an enemy, so I'm always regenerating ammo. So it was to the point where, like, I pretty much stopped opening any loot crates to get any ammo. Like, I didn't need it. Like, I was always full. But I'm not sure if that was just more of a me issue or of a game issue. But still a great game. Still loved it. I've just finished the main quest, and I'm in the post-game mayhem mode, which it's a slider, and essentially it gives enemies more health and more damage. And the trade-off is that you get better rewards and better guns. It does pump the difficulty quite far up, like especially when the enemies have 500% more health and do 500% more damage. Not exactly the best thing in the entire world. It's not making it harder, just artificially bloating it. But at the same time, the weapons I'm getting are much better. So the differences, I'm catching up to the differences. But yeah, Borderlands 3, I'm really enjoying it. That's sort of my trauma dump about it. 8 out of 10.
It sounds like a similar situation you were in with Fire Emblem Engage last week, where it's like, gameplay-wise, fantastic, love it. Everything else, kind of not so much.
Yeah, and I think, which is a pretty rough thing to say considering I gave Fire Emblem a 7. But I think because the way that this presents the story to you, you're not really... The cutscene only goes for 30 seconds a minute, or it's like a voiceover while you're still playing the game. Like, it doesn't interrupt the game to show you
question,
the story.
how often does it interrupt? Like, well, not interrupt, but how often does dialogue play while you're in the middle of gameplay? Like, how often is it?
Quite frequently. Like, quite frequently. Like, I wouldn't be... It's pretty much if you're moving, like progressing the story or a main quest, and you sort of hit a certain area, there'll be conversations going, and you sort of zone them out. Quite frequently. Sometimes I'd probably say a bit too much, but at the same time, I think maybe because I thought the story was so shit, it's more of a, you know what, maybe they should just stop talking, which is quite ironic, given how much I talk. But I really enjoyed it. The gameplay is solid. It's very, very fun to play.
And also have to chime in that the writing in pretty much all of the DLC packs is better than the base game by quite considerably.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, because I was going to boot up the game, the whatchamacallit, the DLCs as Arvo, but I'm like, you know what? Nah. So I do want to 100% this game because it is so fun. And it doesn't seem to be like I don't have to do any replays of the game, which is what stopped me from 100%ing Borderlands 1 and 2. But yeah, I will 100% this.
Hang on, what do you mean you don't have to do any replays? Like, there is still True Vault Hunter mode in this.
Well, no, but you don't have to do that to get an achievement. All the achievements, sorry. With 100%, I mean getting all the achievements.
Yeah, gotcha.
And there is a True Vault Hunter mode, and one of the listeners to this podcast, Ben, he's pretty much forcing me at gunpoint to do another playthrough on True Vault Hunter.
You broke his collarbone?
Oh no, this is a different one. Hey, good callback. Oh, I didn't think you'd represent.
Hey.
But this is a different one. This is a different one. Shout out to Ben. I'm not sure if you listen.
Shout out to Ben with 2 working collarbones. Here's to you, buddy.
The extra C is for collar. But yeah, so I might do that. We might sort of get together and party up because Borderlands is, maybe this is the way that I approach video games as a solo experience, but I have heard the Borderlands experience is much better when you've got 4 players. But yeah, that's all I have to say about Borderlands.
It definitely is, but so I go even one step further where I really enjoy kind of having ultimate utility, which means being able to swap into whatever role or class, whatever party needs me to be. So Borderlands 3, I've racked up some ungodly number of hours on, and every character is maxed out.
Patrick, has anyone ever told you have a problem?
Multiple people. But you know what? None of those people have beaten me a Neon White leaderboard, so I don't listen.
Damn.
But I think that's just...
I'm not doing a podcast anymore. I'm going to go play Neon White. Then I'll be back in time to say you have a problem.
Why does it say you're now playing Neon White?
Well, I think it's like you can do all those replays of it because the gameplay is so fun. Like the game really never feels old because if you start sort of getting sick of using a gun, you just switch to a different gun.
Yeah, and so things like so I agree. Yes, I also want to jump to the next point, which is that it's interesting that you brought up the director's cut because I want to know if you played the Battle Royale mode.
No, I have not. I've heard very good things about it.
It is surprisingly like I was skeptical of it because of it was just the trend for everything to get a Battle Royale mode, and I was like, oh fuck, how the fuck are they going to do it in Borderlands? Why? But having played it, you can do it solo, but I've done it multiplayer a few times. It is so much more fun in multiplayer. It is genuinely good fun in multiplayer, and it's very repeatable too. And some of the weapons that you get out of it are amazing. Like some of my favorite weapons in the game are weapons that only drop in the Battle Royale.
So is it like an actual Battle Royale mode, or is it like
okay? It's a PvE Battle Royale.
Right. Yeah.
So you don't get any of your equipment. You just and I'm not even sure if you can use your action skill because I don't remember most being good at that. They basically had to nerf everyone into the ground in order to do it right. But you drop in almost always near a weapon chest that will give you white rarity loot, and then the whole thing is that your objective is to kill the boss in the middle of the arena, and you need to get enough equipment and get good enough equipment that you can do that. And there will be mobs spawning and things to do like within the arena, and the arena will also shrink in the same kind of battle royale format that everyone knows. And so what's cool about it is that, okay, so you don't get access to any of your guns, right? But anything that drops in the game, anything that drops in the battle royale, if you die in the battle royale, you lose. And even if you win, you can't bring all of the guns back with you. But there are a bunch of places around the map which allow you to save your gun, which is that you basically put it in a locker, the locker shoots off into space, and then it's yours when you finish the battle royale. So you no longer have access to the gun in the battle royale, but it's waiting for you back at Sanctuary. And I think that's a pretty cool middle ground for how a game like Borderlands works.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool.
That seems fun. Yeah, that seems fun. I'm definitely, it is on the list to check it out. Actually, I think there's an achievement related to it, so I legally have to. But yeah.
The only other thing there was one other point I wanted to make about Borderlands 3. Can't be too important. Yeah. I've put way too many hours into it. I'm also at the stage where I basically just skip through all of the story. It's worth doing the DLC for story missions because it's worth doing the main stories in the DLC because of how much XP they give you, because they are still counted as story missions, just as a little pro tip for anyone out there.
Yeah, well, I think I just hit level 50 this afternoon, so it doesn't really bother me at all.
Right. Yeah, sure. But yeah, I wish that the writing was more like Borderlands 2, but between Borderlands 2 and Borderlands 3, the gameplay of Borderlands 3 is fantastic.
Yeah. Cool. Borderlands 3, out now. Go play it. It constantly goes on sale. And because there's 2 types of season passes, one of them, I think, is literally just cosmetics.
No. So, you're right. There are 2 season passes. Season Pass 1 is the 4 story DLCs, like the Borderlands 2 Season Pass. So that's Handsome Jackpot, Blood, Guns, and Tentacles, the Wild West one, which I keep forgetting the name of, and Krieg's Adventure, Krieg's Psychotic Break, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Season Pass 2 is a combination of the Director's Cut and some cosmetics, but within the Director's Cut gives you the Battle Royale. It's funny that you mentioned the side quest that you liked with good writing, Ava's podcast. That is DLC. That's part of Season Pass 2.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. That's what makes. I wondered why those were a bit different. Okay, that makes sense.
And also the fourth weapon tree, the fourth skill tree for each of the characters. That's also part. So that's all. I don't remember what the difference between Director's Cut and Season Pass 2 is, but Season Pass 2 includes the Director's Cut, and that is the majority of the content that you want.
Okay, yeah, because I have both Season Passes, and I think maybe it's sort of me misunderstanding what was in Season Pass 2. Okay, cool, fantastic. Where did they call it, like, the Director's Cut?
The community was really confused as to why they were getting a second Season Pass of content, and they were like, we'll give you free update material, because Borderlands 2 gave a ton of free updates. I've forgotten the name of it, but all of the like little one shots in little areas. Oh man. Like Thanksgiving and Halloween and stuff.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. The event. Yeah, you can hear him typing it out. You can edit this out in post.
TK Baja's Bloody Harvest. No, what was there was like a list of them.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
It actually hurts me because it was one name and it was given to about 3 of them. There was Thanksgiving, Halloween, and they were all free updates.
That's in Borderlands 3 as well.
Thanksgiving?
Maybe not. No, there's definitely like these weird like themes or something you could start.
Yeah, that's... Oh, no, hang on. You might be thinking of the in-game...
The seasonal events, whatever they're called.
Yeah, the seasonal events. Like Revenge of the Cartels and stuff.
Yeah,
those are cool. No, it's not what I'm thinking of, though.
Okay.
This is... it's actually frustrating me. Why don't... You know what? Screw it. I'm just going to open it up on Steam. I know exactly where to find it in Steam. I was hoping Google would help me, but it's friggin' not. Future Seth, maybe keep this in. Not sure.
In the meantime,
I'm still
please,
deciding at the moment.
Please treat yourself to some pew-pews.
Okay, now it's definitely getting cut.
Bastard.
Headhunters.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Finally, my brain can rest easy. The Headhunters DLCs. Headhunter 1, Bloody Harvest. Headhunter 2, Wattle Gobbler. Headhunter 3, Mercenary Day. Headhunter 4, Wedding Day Massacre. Headhunter 5, Son of Cormorax. Looking at them on Steam, they are paid DLCs, but they were one-shots that weren't part of a season pass. That was the mistake I was thinking of. Those were really fun in Borderlands 2 as well. Sorry, that was all I wanted to say. Would highly recommend anyone goes and buys it. It's very fun. Don't pay attention to the story. Play the DLC for story.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you for that, Steve. That brings us to the end of part 1 for this week. We're going to move on to part 2 for this week, which is, of course, the news. Starting off, sad news. Don't worry, no one died yet, but Angry Birds might.
I was expecting you to go on a little bit with that.
I just really wanted to just leave the dour tone, just let it breathe a bit, you know?
I'll go into this because this is basically just corporate greed coming out in full force. So,
what? No way.
Rovio is the company that makes the Angry Birds games, and they're going, hey, so our game Angry Birds is going to be taken down on February 23rd, so two days heads up that they're going to be unlisting it from Google Play Store. They're doing this because apparently they've taken it down before, but then brought it back up from backlash, and it's just a paid game, so people just buy it and they get the entirety of Angry Birds, no problem. That's not good enough, so they're taking it down and reminding you that they have like 3 other Angry Birds games that are on the market that are all free to play with microtransactions littered throughout them. So they don't want you to do just a one-time payment to own an Angry Birds game. They want you to go into the other Angry Birds games where they can charge you over and over and over again.
Yeah, people will always pay more money for microtransactions. Very bad. Free to play model works.
What's the Family Guy cutaway? Stupid Angry Birds. The only people that play this game are people on the toilet anyway.
Yeah. Look, do I care about this a little bit? Do I care enough to feel anything? Nah.
Yeah,
that game has been like, 10 years old or something?
Something like
older
that.
Than that. Surely it's older than 10 years old.
Probably 15.
It's had multiple
Angry
movies. There's no way
Birds
that's only 10 years old.
I feel like that might be 2008 to 2009.
Yeah.
It came out in 2009, my friends.
Yeah, there we go.
Turns
right
out
on the money.
Turns out there's an Angry Birds cartoon that went 4 seasons.
Yep.
It doesn't surprise me since there was a movie.
2 movies.
I didn't know there were 2 movies.
I'm pretty sure there's Steve, look that up. Pretty sure there's a second one.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Look at that. What can I say? On the money. Or whatever Seth said, but like better because I'm higher on the leaderboard than Neon White.
6.4 out of 10 in IMDb.
I just keep getting better and better.
Hey, behold, mid.
Also, it says here that they can't take it off your phone if you have it already downloaded. So I wonder if this is going to be the Flappy Bird situation where
Flappy Bird
birds will be worth a lot of money on eBay.
Quick, download it right now.
You're right, I should. I'll download it on an old phone. Just suddenly increases its market value.
Or, and hear me out here. Isn't there a lawsuit currently pushing to create a third-party app store on Android? Maybe, I assume iOS as well, but I don't quite remember. As part of the whole Epic Games Apple bullshit. Because
maybe.
when that comes out, that means that they'd have the ability to load third-party apps, and so surely someone could just upload a cracked file to load onto your phone anyway.
Yeah, that'll probably happen. I think it might just be for iOS.
I know you could do it now. I'm well aware that people could do it now if they wanted to. I'm just saying, in the future, I'm sure this will come back up again anyway.
Yeah, and I think it might just be for iOS because I'm pretty sure Android phones have multiple markets you can use. It's just Apple phones that are locked to just the Apple Store.
Yeah, buddy. Tim Cook needs a new cocaine ball for his other cocaine balls. Anyway, next up on the list. Elden Ring topping 20 million rangs.
Yeah, someone rang that bell 20 times.
20 million times.
Million.
No, 20 times. It's 1 per million.
No. Steve. The bell was rung at least 20 times.
Oh, yeah, at least, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like, I think it hit like 12 million not long after launch, like within the launch month. So
I remember 12 million being thrown around.
Yeah, so it's taken about a year, but basically on the 1 year anniversary of the game, it's sold another 8 million copies. That's not a small amount of sales either. 20 million is a lot. It really shows how big of a deal Elden Ring became.
And I think we need to give credit here as well in that I was going to make a point about how this is a single-player game, but I realized Pokemon pulling crazy numbers is also kind of a single-player focused game.
And Animal Crossing.
Yeah, maybe it's less of a relevant point, but it is cool. I guess I'll pivot to say that it's really nice that no matter how much effort people want to put into shitty microtransaction multiplayer-first sludge that they push out the door, that games like Elden Ring are the ones that get crazy high sales numbers.
Yeah, no, Elden Ring was like fully featured out of the box. There's no like random DLC bullshit or microtransactions. They haven't even announced if there's going to be a DLC expansion yet. People expect there to be because Dark Souls games always do.
And their rumors are circulating. They did that little DLC Coliseum thing for those PvP players. Yeah. All 3 of you out there.
Yeah, all 3 of you. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
That one Babylon Fall guy.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's very funny that it sold so much because there was such that big hype about it. A lot of people that I know that have never played a Dark Souls game before played Elden Ring, and it was probably a 50-50 of, too hard versus, no, I finally got it, and now I'm going back and playing all the other Dark Souls games. Like, it was very, I don't know what it was about just that. Maybe was it good marketing? Was it because the game was so anticipated that all of us, I'm using air quotates, true gamers were really excited for it, that it's spilled over into normie culture. I don't know.
The Dark Souls games were slowly getting more and more popular as time went on, as well as Bloodborne and people being very vocal about wanting a new Bloodborne release, that it just kind of slowly got to a tipping point where it's like, no, everyone kind of is on board. Elden Ring's not a Dark Souls sequel, so being a fresh entry point for people to come in and try it makes it even more enticing, and there's the George R.R. Martin advertised name on it as well, so you got the Game of Thrones people getting interested in it.
I
what do you fucking do, but
Steve? The whole point is that if more people play the game, you have an obligation to gatekeep the shit out of them.
Right, actually, this should have sold 2 copies.
You know what? If you gatekept Yakuza even more, there wouldn't be any VTubers in it.
Oh, fucking hell. Shut up. You know, I want to punch I am in your walls.
Good, I need a new hole.
Oh, man. Anyway, yeah, don't really have a huge amount more to add, but yeah, just well done, Elden Ring. Good to see a game like it getting recognized for how sick it is.
Also, to answer Steven's question, it doesn't matter what George R.R. Martin's involvement was with the game. His name being attached on it was enough.
Yeah, it's true. I actually, is that true? I don't know too many people that went, you know what, I really enjoyed watching. How many people do you know that saw the end of season 8 Game of Thrones and went, well, I've been punished enough by this, I can't wait to be punished enough by a game?
I think enough people know that the final season of Game of Thrones doesn't represent what he envisions for the series, and that was a TV crew fuck up rather than his.
Yeah. I get all that, but I guess what I'm saying is I actually don't see a huge overlap between people that would go out of their way to religiously watch Game of Thrones and people that would religiously get into a Souls game just because George R.R. Martin's name's on it. Yeah,
I can't, but that's also because my entire social group is already into both of those things, that it's hard to make that judgment call.
And you know what? Gatekeep them, Seth.
You're right, I should gatekeep harder.
It is our job as gamers.
If you didn't play Demon's Souls, you didn't play Souls correctly.
Rats, I didn't play that.
Or
if you didn't play Armored Core, you didn't play any From game.
Actually, how long ago was it that the guy completed the God Run of all those games?
God Run?
Yeah.
He played all of the games without getting hit.
Yeah, that was only in the last couple of weeks, wasn't it? Somewhere?
Yeah, it was pretty recently. I'm not sure exactly when, but I was hearing about it pretty recently.
Yeah, same. Anyway, yeah, congrats to that guy. Seek help. And yeah, congrats to Elden Ring. Next up, Ubisoft. Oh boy. Ubisoft decided to release something before Skull and Bones, but the thing that they're releasing before Skull and Bones is Skull and Bones, but better. But they're not releasing it publicly.
Ubisoft says they have an improved version of Skull and Bones they haven't shown yet. Sure you have, Ubisoft. Sure you have.
No, I believe him. It's just a girl that goes to a different school up the coast. You don't know her, bro. I swear.
Is this improved version of Skull and Bones in the room with us now?
Yeah, it's pretty...
guys,
I don't know what this means.
Ubisoft's uncle works at Ubisoft.
Huh.
So remember how they were showing off Skull and Bones and basically going, yeah, it's almost ready for launch. It's almost ready for launch. Here's all these deep dives and everything. And everyone's like, this looks like shit. This doesn't look like fun. And then they're like, oh, you know what? We're going to delay the game for improvements. They swear that all that footage is outdated and they have a better version of the game that only people behind closed doors have seen.
I mean, okay. To be fair, yes, it's a fuck up that it gets to the state where they're like, hey, look at this. And it's like the kid that brings macrame back and you're like, it's shit, but I guess we'll put it on the fridge. But it is nice that a company goes, wow, everyone hates this. Let's not release it anyway. Meanwhile, how many games can we think of where they're like, oh yeah, no, we're going to do like a public beta and then we're going to look for feedback. And everyone's like, this is shit. And the company's like, so it's released. we heard your feedback.
Anthem, Babylon's Fall.
Don't talk about Anthem. So close to greatness.
It's just like, what is the point of the beta? The beta comes out and everyone goes, this is shit. And then the company's like, thanks for the feedback. So you can now buy the game for full price.
We will implement your feedback in the second major patch. Not the first one, the second one.
Or in the case of Forspoken, eventually, maybe question mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they've said that it's supposed to come in Ubisoft's 2023-2024 fiscal year, which is sometime.
I think they're going to last that long. That's cute.
Or sometime after April the 1st.
It went from April 1st of this year to March
after April
31st
Fools,
next year.
Yeah, they will release it on April Fools and be like, nah, it's not exactly what it's supposed to look like. And then take it off the store. Look, at the end of the day, the game will come out. It's a Ubisoft game. It'll be mid at best. And then that's it. We can all go back to whatever flavor of the month. Elden Ring 2, perhaps.
It was like, what was the list of Ubisoft games that were available for free? Was that part of like a Game Pass?
Ubisoft Plus.
Yeah, Ubisoft Plus, where it was like 250 of their games or something. Basically, their entire online library.
Yeah. And then bloody Josh is like, oh yeah, I'd play The Crew too. And Steve and I were both just like, are you sure? So I would if it's free. Are you really sure?
Look, yeah, your most valuable resource is your time. But at the same time, only someone that hasn't played The Crew 2 would say that.
Josh also says he's going to play Skull and Bones, and he's very excited for it. In saying that, he kept saying that, not believing me when I said they're just doing the Assassin's Creed 4 ship gameplay that you hated. And then he saw it and he's like, oh no, it's the Assassin's Creed 4 ship gameplay. I really wish someone would have told me.
He's the only probably human being alive that actually thinks that Black Flag ship combat is bad. He's probably strapped up to the copium machine right now.
Yeah, it's why he can't record. He's on copium life support.
Copium support. Life copium. It doesn't matter.
Copium's anonymous.
I will give Skull and Bones 1 point of credit if they decide to bring the ship shanties back from Black Flag.
Yeah, those
like
are
literally the same ones.
They can be the same ones. It can even be the exact same voice clips doing them. But as long as they're in the game, that's 1 point in its favor.
Those were very good.
The camera swivels around and suddenly you are no longer your character. You are Assassin's Creed.
You're Assassin's Creedman.
Looks at the camera. Yeah. Skull and Bones isn't going to be good. Let's move on.
Skull and Bones isn't going to exist. Let's move on.
Right. And moving on. Speaking of shit that gets busted on launch. So the Chrono Cross PC port finally getting a patch. I don't really care enough about this to read past the headline. So, Seth, tell me what I need to know here.
Yeah, so
have you even played Chrono Cross, Seth?
I haven't. It was something I wanted to buy when it came out, and it was riddled with issues.
Yeah, the PC port was shit. What is it? Maybe you PC gamers aren't the master race.
Listen,
I'm just saying, you guys keep getting shitty port.
Once I install 20 mods, some of them that fix the game, some of them that are nude mods, some of them that just completely upend the game into being something completely different, then you truly understand. That's when you truly understand how the PC gaming scape is the master race. But yeah,
I don't think my microphone picked it up, but it's a big sigh.
And a bit of a jerk off motion.
No, not the slightest. Anyway, and by the way, I've got a couple of mods for The Sims on an unrelated note. Purely cosmetic stuff, of course.
Of course. Only tasteful Christian gameplay mods.
But yeah, Chrono Cross was like riddled with issues, a lot of stuttering, frame rate issues, and a few other things. All of those, it's basically been a year since it came out, and Square Enix has gone, yeah, so remember how we released that game last year and it was broken? Yeah, we're going to fix it. A patch is going to be coming out this month. So, you know, that's nice.
It's funny because apparently the console ports weren't broken at all. So
it's only on Switch, isn't it? It's just Switch and PC, I think.
Really? I thought I saw it was on Xbox.
I will have to double check that.
Okay, I'll race you to it. Chrono, Radical, Dreamers. Oh no, I'm making too many errors. I got too excited.
Yeah, I was doing the exact same thing. I was about to say you won because I was having errors.
It is on the Microsoft Store. I can confirm.
Let's see. I'm loading up the Square Enix page for it right now.
I'm literally on the Microsoft.
It is on Nintendo Switch, PS4, Steam, and Xbox One. I
literally just said that. Fuck you.
You said it was on the Xbox Store. You didn't say anything about PlayStation.
Oh, it is. Oh. So I have to say about that. $30. I'm not paying $30 for it. This game's 100 years old.
$30 seems fine for a remaster.
Look, we've said this before.
Once it's been fixed, $30 is fine for the remaster.
we've said this before on the podcast. Either bring your game to Game Pass, or I will not play it.
Yeah, that's you though. I will buy anything from Square Enix as long as it meets specific thresholds of quality.
I was going to say, why didn't you buy this then, you bastard? Yeah.
I will not take questions about why I haven't bought Balan Wonderworld or Forspoken.
You fucking coward.
Or Fierce
What do you
Rhythm.
mean? With a track record like that, how could you possibly lose?
Or Babylon's Fall.
What was that? Balan's Wonderworld. Say that?
I did say that. I said
You
that
did?
before
Okay.
Forspoken.
All right. Forspoken. Anyway. Good day to be a Chrono Cross fan, some might say.
Yeah,
All four of
very
you.
glad they're patching a game that I care about.
That you have not bought yet.
Yeah,
Very
not enough to buy, clearly, but don't worry.
Once it's
Once people
fixed.
do a bunch
Once
of
it's
free
fixed.
work for you, then you'll talk. Yeah, cool. Next up on the list, we have a Dark Pinocchio Souls.
We've talked about Lies of P before.
Yeah, we have.
It takes.
It's still
I
just a
physically-
very funny idea.
Every time I see this game, I literally have to physically stop myself from calling it Life of Pi, or Life of P.
Yeah, before we were recording, you were talking about it, and like for 2 minutes straight, you just kept calling it Life of Pi, and you were like, "Wait, is that even what it's called?"
Yeah, lies. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
It's just one of the many lies, really, if you think
Yeah.
about it.
Well, I'm very excited for this game. One, because it comes to Game Pass on release. And two, because it's essentially we've got Bloodborne at home. And the main character is Pinocchio. A tale as old as time.
You know, it's a really interesting take on the Pinocchio story. Like, it's super dark fantasy, edging onto Bloodborne at home.
Yeah, and apparently you can change your inventory by you're swapping out your body parts. It's a very interesting concept. And got its release window for August 2023 with a new trailer. I'd recommend anybody.
Which is the news. That is the news of why we're talking about it. It's coming out August.
Yeah, this year allegedly, if you believe what the
August
bad
this
cats.
year. Wow, crazy.
Yeah, so I'm excited for it. Will I play it on release? Maybe.
It's on Game Pass, so why not?
Look, there's a lot of games out there. Wo Long comes out next week, and I'm balls deep into Dragon Ball Kakarot, and still got to finish Fire Emblem. I just can't. I'm not very good at that. But yeah. Lies of Pi.
Right. Yep.
You still got it wrong in the end.
Lies of P, that's what I said. Rats, fuck, I'm always going to get it wrong.
Minor spelling mistake.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thanks,
no! Mr. Fast Travel Lounge, I don't feel too good.
Finger on the buzzer with that one. I was about to go for the dunk if you hadn't. So good. We'll just count that as teamwork and move on. Last Labyrinth coming to PS5 along with an update that means that you no longer need a VR headset to play it. This is an interesting idea for me because I actually don't know a huge amount about Last Labyrinth, but I'm assuming it's a VR first game, right?
Yeah, it's already on PSVR 1 and Steam.
And Steam, right? Yeah.
So it's coming to PSVR 2 and PS5, and with that, it's also removing the VR elements so you can just play it with a controller. And I've heard of things going the other way around where you start with controller and then go to VR.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen something go in reverse, and I'm really interested to see how that turns out.
I don't really have anything more to add to this. It seems like an interesting idea. I kind of hope it works out because I think, if you're a developer, you want as many people as possible to play the game. But it'd be interesting. For example, if Steam did this with Half-Life Alyx, where they removed the VR headset requirement and you can just play it with a monitor, I think that would be. I'm not saying that they should do that or not, but I'm saying it would be weird without talking about Last Labyrinth for Steam to do that. It would be weird for them to take a VR game and add a monitor-only mode to it. So it's interesting that Last Labyrinth is doing that. So I hope it goes well.
Yeah. I'd like to see it do it really well, and possibly make a wave of other VR exclusive things open themselves up to a wider audience of letting people play it on controller and monitor. Also, just for audience sake, Last Labyrinth is a escape room style game where you got to solve deadly puzzles and help another character escape the labyrinth along with you, and it's super deadly escape room. And that's kind of it.
Could you imagine one of those VR experiences, like on the roller coaster or something, and then they release a patch that you don't even need the headset for it? It's just a video of a roller coaster. Just me, tough crowd.
Yeah,
Anyway.
just you. Sorry, man. All the best. Yeah, but
What was the you sleep on Last Labyrinth?
No, I just want VR, but it's too expensive, and I don't have the space in my house.
Ah, fair.
Sorry, I was looping back to the start.
Yeah, I'm sort of in the same boat where I have VR from a few years ago, but I still don't have the space in my house to use it because I bought it when I lived in a place that did have the space to use it.
Well, I'll teach you to move.
It will. Anyway, next up, Redfall, the world of Redfall. I am quietly excited for this. It's been ages since I've read Redfall, but I used to be big into... Wait, actually, I need to make sure I don't fall on my own sword here. This is Redfall, like the books, right?
No.
Yeah, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, I've never heard of the Redfall books.
Wait, am I thinking of Red Wall? Shit, did I just make a minor spelling mistake? Is it Red Wall?
Minor spelling mistake, live on commentary.
It's been many years.
All the best, big fella. But no, so this Redfall game...
GG.
No, let's all talk at the same time. Oh, excellent. Yeah, love this. I'm not going to stop. Sorry. Can out myself. Sorry, Seth, you go.
I was going to tell Patrick, I don't know how he can be such a big fan of books with that much dyslexia.
Wait, sorry, what? Say that again?
How is he that big of a fan of books with that much dyslexia?
I had a dyslexia moment listening to that. Anyway, I'm sort of sick of this weird conversation. So Redfall, you know it, I know it. The game.
Do I?
I don't. I clearly don't.
Yeah, you don't. So Redfall is one of Microsoft's first party games coming out very soon. It's being developed by Arcane Studios that have given us Dishonored and Prey, I believe. Prey's 2017, I should clarify. And it's being published by Bethesda. So it was sort of first shown off about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, and everyone thought it was like a Left 4 Dead type of thing where you go in, there's four of you, and just go and literally just shoot vampires in the heads.
This is that game.
Yeah, that game.
They also had quirky dialogue throughout the trailers.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and it's kind of... They have really described it really poorly. So about a month ago, they did like a developer interview. And he's like, yeah, it's not really Left 4 Dead. It's more like Far Cry 2 in terms of the open world and what you're doing there. And that's a very weird comparison to make, because Far Cry 2 was one of the probably first pioneers of the open world genre, in my opinion. I really liked that game when it came out. So
I really liked half of that game when it came out.
Oh man, I really liked half of Far Cry 3 when that came out.
Did you play Far Cry 2, but?
Yeah. No, I didn't.
See, there you go.
He'd like the other half. No, for me, I didn't like how Outposts always had guys respawn there.
Yeah, 100% with you. 100% with you. That was bullshit.
When I play those sorts of games, I really like the idea of, because to me, I don't remember when Far Cry 2 came out, but I played it in a similar time to when I played Saints Row 3. And Saints Row 3 was like, when you clear out this part of the city, that's yours. Like, it's safe. You're okay here. Yeah. And so me playing that and then playing Far Cry 2, I was like, all right, I've killed everyone in a square kilometer. It's safe. And then I leave and I come back and all these dudes are just milling around like, hey, what are you doing here? Shooting me while I'm trying to drive my vehicle through. It's like, well, this isn't fun anymore.
Yeah, definitely. That was definitely the worst part of Far Cry 2, and I fucking hated it. But yeah, so they essentially Redfall. They released a new trailer today, reminding everybody that's coming out on May the 2nd, and sort of showing off a bit more of the world. And this world is that vampires have taken over the world, and half the time you'll be shooting vampires, and half the time you'll be shooting brainwashed people that love vampires. So, Twilight fans, pick your team. Yeah, took it out of my mouth, you bastard. I said it first. So
I said
yeah,
at the same time as you on my end.
Yeah, pretty much. Am I? I'm in a weird place with this game because it is a Xbox first party release, exclusive game. Sorry, so
and
I legally
day
have
one
to.
Game Pass.
Or it's a first party release, day one Game Pass, baby. But I don't have to share it with Steam or something. PlayStation, grub.
Actually, it is going to be coming to Steam.
Oh,
Microsoft has made it very aware that all their games coming to PC go to like all the PC storefronts. So it's Steam, Epic Game Store, and the Microsoft Store.
Oh, well, it's not going to PlayStation then. Xbox
no PlayStation,
win.
No Switch.
But it may have to if they want to buy up Activision Blizzard. So I mean, hey, we'll see.
Oh no. Well, I was going to keep it off the news docket, but since you brought that up real quick,
you set them off.
That deal's only for Activision games, not all of Microsoft's games. So, Microsoft, yeah.
I don't really know how to put. I don't give a shit.
It just means Redfall won't come to Switch ever. So Steven gets to stay safe in his superiority complex.
Well, that's fine because everyone knows that it's going to be one of the first games to drop on the Switch coming out later this year.
So that's why they made the 10-year deal for Call of Duty on Nintendo.
Yeah. Oh. And also as well, I'm just going to pivot to the next news article because there's another Xbox one. And us ex-Chads keep winning. So I don't know why, Seth, you put this on the lineup.
Because I knew you'd want to talk about it.
I usually don't talk about the Game Pass things because they're really always really good. But the good Phil Spencer giveth and the good Phil Spencer taketh away. So for the upcoming March lineup, they've put the list of the games that they're putting up on Game Pass, and two of them I'm very interested in. Soul Hackers 2 seems to be like we've got Persona at home, and they've got Wo Long Fallen Dynasty, which is actually coming out next Friday, so that'll be a day one release, and that definitely feels like it'll be we have Chinese Dark Souls at home. That doesn't mean necessarily it's a bad thing. It just means it's a thing. But we are losing Dragon Ball Fighter Z and Octopath Traveler, as well as a bunch of other dumb games that no one cares about.
Lightning Returns, Final Fantasy 13.
Yep, you heard what I said.
Pouring one out for that one.
Yeah, sure you are. But yeah, okay, that's the Xbox news of the week. Ding!
I don't know how to feel about in that article mentioning that holy shit, tomorrow there's a game update to Microsoft Flight Simulator for New Zealand.
New Zealand Chads, we just keep getting
it was really easy. They just had to put more water over where that section was.
Really giving it the Gen 3 treatment.
Bum, 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 bum.
You can only land on New Zealand with a water plane.
Everything's a sea taxi now. Goddamn. Anyway, speaking of lineups, Seth, you want to take us through EVO 2023?
Yeah, so earlier today, EVO decided they're going to announce all of the main games that's going to be on the stage at the EVO America. That's going to be
and
running.
The craziest part was that they said that Smash was coming back. I think is that right?
No, they said Smash is even deader in the water than it's ever been because Nintendo won't pick up the phone.
What do you mean? It seemed to work out so well with their Smash circuit last month.
No. Ever since Sony bought Evo, Nintendo's been very quiet about coming back.
No, I know. I just mean after the whole Panda Global debacle. Debacle. However that word is normally said. 2 months ago, which actually has the dust even settled from that?
I think it has. A lot of people left or their contracts expired.
I think Panda Global. I keep wanting to say Panda Express. It's so bad. I'm pretty sure as a company it's dead in the water, isn't it?
It could be. I'm not 100% sure on that one.
Anyway. No Smash. It's just funny that, you know, all of a sudden we go from no Smash at Evo to no Smash anywhere.
Yes. I don't think they've even got their own tournaments like community tournaments set up at the moment.
Well, no, because Nintendo shuts those down. You don't want people playing the fucking games. What are you, stupid?
You're right. Only remember games. Don't play them.
You know what? Sometimes with older games, that is very true.
I bet you go and try and look up soundtracks in the public domain as well, Seth. You sick fuck.
Oh no, I just listen to illegal rips on YouTube. Even worse than that. Rest in peace, Silver Gunner.
Rest in peace. Anyway, so the actual Evo lineup.
Yeah, so Evo running from August 4th to 6th, presented by Chipotle.
Yo, that's one of our sponsors now.
All right. Thanks, Chipotle.
They got 8 games lined up. So no surprise, Street Fighter 6. I was a little worried about that because Street Fighter has been having a rough time of it lately. Very glad to see that they could make it back again, like they do every year.
Yo, this means we could see your custom character on main stage.
God, I hope so.
That means, he has to be good enough to get there. Come on, Pat. Let's not give him hope.
You're right. I should just go download the cracks to the demo so I can just stay in training mode 24/7.
Seth, hear me out. All right, we go to Chipotle. We say we will eat 100 Chipotles if we get this custom character to main stage.
It doesn't even have to do anything. Just put it up on the projector for a little bit. That's all. I'll supply the picture.
Your custom character's now the warm-up round for like professional players.
It's no, my custom character is going to be the face of Chipotle at Evo.
Jesus.
His catchphrase is just eat Chipotle.
Munch.
Do you want to look like me?
No, but go on. I eat
burritos
for breakfast. Second game, Guilty Gear Strive. Third up, Dragon Ball Fighters, because I think this might be the last year for Dragon Ball Fighters. Tekken 7, going to be the last year for Tekken 7. Tekken 8's going to replace it next year.
Are we surprised by this? Like, it's a new game comes out, old game goes the way of the dinosaur?
No, was it even? There was one that did the new and the old of one of the fighting games that came out.
A couple of Evos ran, a couple years ago, Evo ran Smash Ultimate and Smash Melee at the same time.
That's semi-common just because of the size of the scenes. But no, there was one, I wish I had it to back up. Anyway, the point is that there were two different categories, one for the new game and one for the old one, but I forget which game it was. It might have been Evo, it might have been something else, I'm not sure. But like, it wouldn't surprise me, I guess is what I'm saying, if they did Tekken 7 and Tekken 8 next year. Or from next year.
I think Tekken 8 will just completely replace Tekken 7 on the main stage. That's going to be what Namco pushes for, I feel.
That's true.
Anyway, King of Fighters 15 after that. Now, the surprising one is Melty Blood is going to be on the main stage. They've upgraded from playing on laptops anywhere they can find to being on the main stage of Evo. Very, very happy for them. Mortal Kombat 11 is getting another go around at Evo. And surprisingly, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is going to be a main stage appearance.
Which is now 8 years old?
Ultimate Marvel 3? No, that's 12 years old. That was 2011.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Sheesh moment.
Some big news for Evo in general as well is that they've shortened the top 8 main stage games to be top 6 instead. Basically for running time, like the last few years they've been running overtime on basically every game. Rounds go longer and longer, and Evo is basically fighting game E3 at this point, so they want time on stage for developers to come up and make their big announcements. Like last year, Dragon Ball FighterZ went until 1 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday, and
Jesus,
that's just so funny.
Yeah, and
it's horrible.
Give me 1 second to Google her name because I don't want to get this wrong.
An awful lot of editing out of Seth this week.
What do you mean? He's going to keep all of this in?
Tomoko Hiroki, for the producer for Dragon Ball FighterZ, she made that announcement for rollback at last year's E3, not E3, Evo for Dragon Ball FighterZ. So the poor woman was staying there until 1 a.m., almost collapsing from being tired, waiting for that announcement, like waiting for the finals to finish so she could make that announcement. And yeah, they just don't want game developers and the attendants to be put into that situation again. So shortening top 8 to be top 6s just helps with that. Every game will have a minimum of $25,000 in the prize pool, which, jumping ahead to a different news article, is fucking chump change compared to what Capcom is going to be doing with Street Fighter 6 at the Capcom Cup, where they just announced that they're going to have an over $2 million prize pool, and first place for Capcom Cup 2023 will take home $1 million, making the first Street Fighter millionaire.
And hey, you know what? You can thank us Rise Sunbreak fans for that, because ain't no way Capcom's affording that on their own.
I think what what also helped is all the Fortnite money that came from the Chun-Li skin.
Oh, yeah. Probably did.
maybe.
You're right. Yeah.
And Cygames will be hosting a pre-release tournament on the side for Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising. So the game's not going to be out before Evo, but they're going to do like a beta build tournament for people to just join in and have some fun with it before it comes out.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. And also just on the side, Tekken 8 released a trailer for Kazuya Mishima. He's doing Kazuya things. They changed some of his moves to look a little better, and the game's just looking fantastic overall. The trailer is really nice to watch. Like these character trailers for Tekken 8 are really nice. And yeah, that's the fighting game lineup done.
Sweet. Where are we up to now?
Another Saif moment.
I'm gonna be real with you, Steve. They're all Saif moments.
The Xbox one wasn't. Fuck you.
Don't know how to tell you this. It was Saif the whole time.
But I don't even have Game Pass.
Absolute fucking idiot. It's the best value for gamers, man. You're a fucking idiot.
Who said you need an Xbox to enjoy the benefits of Game Pass, Saif?
I mean, there is PC Game Pass.
Yeah.
But I was using the Microsoft Store.
I'm getting revved up.
You know what? I like this catchphrase better than the other one.
I actually don't even really know how to introduce this next one, Saif. This one basically we can just read the headline and move on. Level 5 announced that they're going to be doing a live stream on March 9. It's going to be in Japanese, but they'll have English subtitles. And they're going to be showing off their future game lineup, which includes Inazuma 11, Deca Police, Fantasy Life, Musashi Wired, and Professor Layton. Basically just showing off that they're not dead anymore. They're on their comeback tour now. Here's all the games they're going to be releasing over the next year. So if you want more information on those games, and I'll probably talk about all that information on those games, it'll be in like 2-3 weeks. Cool.
Not really.
Honestly, I care more about GT7 getting an update. Actually,
a hefty update.
It's a hefty update, and when people listen to this, the update will be available.
So just before you guys go off and talk about it, when they say GT7, they're talking about Gran Turismo 7.
What else could I have been talking about?
I do not know. Let me just Google GT7 and see what I come up with. It's all Gran Turismo 7. Well, just in case, just in case, like people that don't know, that don't have Gran Turismo
7. The moment, the palpable tension of it's all Gran Turismo 7.
Yeah.
The
regret
in his voice speaks volumes.
Definitely. You're right, Seth. They are going to want a hefty update. Bunch of new cars, couple of new tracks, full VR2 support should definitely not be sniffed at.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how this game goes in VR because holy shit, Gran Turismo racing in VR would be really interesting to experience.
So I mentioned before, but in the VR headset that I have, it's weird saying that it's old now, but it is. It's a sort of circa 2016, 2017 era Oculus, which is weird thinking that that's now at least 5 years old. But that I played Dirt Rally a few times in, and that made me experience genuine fear.
Oh, jeez.
Dirt Rally is a pretty visceral racing game, and with a VR headset, you're like, yeah, this is actually role-playing a car crash, so PSVR 2 support for Gran Turismo 7 would be pretty intense.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be as bad because Dirt is a rally game where you're going off-road a lot. This is on a proper track, so I imagine it's less intense than that.
Hopefully.
I'd hope so. There's no promises. The way I play Gran Turismo, it might as well be a dirt rally track.
Oh, Jesus.
Every corner's a straight line if you take it hard enough.
You remember that guy at NASCAR that just slammed against the wall? That's me on every wall on Gran Turismo.
That was a trick pioneered by our own Seth.
I invented that trick back in 1995. I just hit accelerate and I didn't let go.
Oh, I thought you were going to make a joke about your birth, where like.
That's how you got out. You know what? That's weird.
You know what? I'm not going to finish that thought.
Yeah.
You can connect the dots.
Yeah, that's a whole year after my birth. I was 1 year old and legally allowed to hold a controller.
I'm legally allowed to drive on a NASCAR track. Anyway, yeah, I don't know that there's much point going through everything that this update offers, but if you have Gran Turismo 7, enjoy.
I kind of want to talk about the Gran Turismo Sophie thing, because that's going to be them. It's a limited time thing, but they're going to be implementing an AI racer into the game for people to go against. And I think we talked about this last year when they announced Sophie for the first time and the AI behind it.
Because this is the adaptive difficulty thing, right?
Yeah, and so what they're doing for this is that they're doing 4 versions of Sophie at different difficulty levels for you to race against. And I guess it's like ranging from easy to hard for all the different ones that are on the track, and just kind of to compare your skill level against it and to teach the AI about player driving, I guess.
You know what I really like about this?
Go on.
What I like is that Sony and is it Polyphony? Keep forgetting who publishes this. Yeah, Polyphony. I love that they look at this and they're like, we have online races available where if people want an experience of what it's like to race against another human, people can do that. But they also accept that every online lobby is such a dumpster fire that the better solution is to create an AI that can accurately race like a human just to avoid the pain of actually racing online against other humans.
Yeah, the problem is you still need to be connected to the internet to do it, but
of course you do.
It's a thing. They something I also kind of appreciate is that they have little face emoticons next to the name of the AI. So when it's overtaking you, it starts smiling, and if you overtake it, it starts getting a frowny face.
Wow, I'm so glad that OpenAI worked so hard to get emoticons. But whether or not an AI passes you on a racetrack,
it's the little things. It's the little things that matter. But yeah, no, I just find that pretty interesting that it's finally making its way into the game after they announced it last year.
It's definitely interesting. It's just funny that they're solving, like, there are ways to solve this problem, and they are picking probably the most complicated one.
Yeah.
Right. Well, next up in the list, we have a state of play going tomorrow, or might be the next day.
The absolute state of play.
Absolute state of it.
We can't keep going back to that. We already use it as a title name.
Hey, name's so nice you say it twice. Anyway, what is there something that they have hinted at in this state of play that gets your motor running to continue the Gran Turismo 7 chat?
Not yet. They've announced that they're going to be showing a bunch of PlayStation VR 2 stuff, and a big one they're showing off is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. But they've also said that the presentation is going to be 45 minutes long with 16 titles shown throughout it. And there's going to be a bunch of other third-party games shown in between those two things. So the VR2 stuff, I'm interested in seeing, but they don't get my motor running because I don't have a VR2 and I probably won't for a long while.
What, you don't have the money to spend on more than a console to buy a VR headset?
The problem is I do at the moment, but I don't want to.
Wait. Have you been keeping the Krispy Kreme Ford Truck Month Truck Nut sponsorship money away from us?
No, I've been doing other illicit activities.
Did Chipotle pay you for this?
No, not yet. I need to enter Evo first.
You need to show them your custom character.
We need to work out that deal.
And then they pay us not to put that on main stage.
Yeah.
They're going to pay you to throw the group stage. Yeah, I'm sort of the same. Not a huge amount in here that I'm particularly excited for. I mean, yeah, same boat, really. Anything from you, Steve?
I have nothing to contribute to this conversation.
The absolute state of you contributing to the state of play. Absolute crazy.
I'm sure something that I care about will come out. But that will be when it is.
Having fun speaking cryptically?
What? No, I'm not cryptic. I don't know what to be excited for because it's a PlayStation event.
I'm looking forward to when something fun will come out, and that'll be when something fun comes out. Nice.
Yeah,
You know what?
it's going to be all the third-party stuff for Steven because they have a chance of coming to Xbox.
And
Yeah, and
including third-party stuff is Game Pass itself.
Ooh, Game Pass on PlayStation.
And Suicide Squad's
boys
going to be on Xbox as well, but the problem is
that game looks incredibly
none
mid.
of us are excited about Suicide Squad after they showed that was going to be a live service broken thing.
Even the one that came out, Gotham Knights.
Yeah, Gotham Knights. That had live service elements that looked like they got ripped out, but they kept certain things like the level up mechanics and certain things, and it also wasn't Rocksteady. Rocksteady you kind of can get behind more than the studio that did Gotham Knights, but the fact that it's a live service game is a hindrance to Suicide Squad.
Love servants game should not exist. But anyway, that's enough. We'll bring it up next week if there are any good games. Maybe.
There's going to be 16 games. I assume at least one of them will be good.
And finally, on the list for this week, Pokemon. Back
Yay.
for more. We get 20 minutes of Pokemon news in 5 days' time.
Yay! So it's Pokemon Day, the happiest time of year. It's pretty much the anniversary of when...
This is something you're more looking forward to, Steve.
Yes, I'm very much looking forward to this.
I hope they announce Pokken Tournament 2.
Yep.
What do you mean? It's Pokemon sleep time.
Pokemon Week.
Pokemon Stadium 3.
Pokemon Stadium 3, but it's just Pokken Tournament 2.
They've done Pokemon Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby. Now get ready for Sigma Emerald.
You know what? Just for that, you're off the pod.
So anyway, so this for those that might not be as brainwashed into liking Pokemon as we are, essentially Pokemon Day is held on the same day every year since 2015 or whatever, and it is the anniversary of when Red and Green came out in Japan, and that's February 27th. And they always have, since 2015, done like a video to sort of announce the games that are coming out, what's going on. So they've announced that 20-minute Pokemon Presents, which is like a Nintendo Direct, will be giving, and this is, I'm quoting the article from Gamatsu here, exciting Pokemon news.
It's happening. They're going to announce Generation 10.
Yep. No, they won't, Seth. You are literally on copium for whatever reason. Literally, Gen 9 just came out. Don't forget, we enjoy that game. Like there probably will be DLC for that.
Somehow they're going to rush Game Freak to make Generation 10 even faster.
So the Steven predictions, and you can take this to the bank and have a punt on this. And it'll be about 2 minutes.
Arceus 2.
No, there'll be Pokemon Go news. There'll be Pokemon Masters news. There'll be DLC for Scarlet and Violet, and there'll be a weird third-party app for Pokemon, plus probably an announcement for Pokemon Arceus 2, whatever that is. Or a remake of Black and White, baby. Pokemon Grey.
So you did a fair list, and I might have just zoned out at the beginning of it, but I didn't hear you say anything about Pokemon games coming to the Virtual Console.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't. That's copium.
I think they'll throw because they just did the Game Boy games and Game Boy Advance games on Nintendo Switch. I think they'll dump Generation 1 and 2 at the very least onto the Switch. Whether Generation 3 makes it on there is up for debate, but Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, and Crystal I can definitely see happening with hopefully Pokemon Stadium support.
Yeah, well, don't forget Pokemon Stadium is supposed to be coming to the Virtual Console very soon. So yeah, and there's no way you can play those Pokemon Stadium games without playing through the games.
Yeah, using the rental Pokemon is horrid.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm very excited. What do you guys reckon? We know Seth wants Gen 10. What are you expecting, Patrick?
I was just saying that as a joke, like force Game Freak to just pump out a new generation every year, and the quality of every game just keeps sinking and sinking.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm sort of with you that I suspect the main bulk of the news will be stuff kind of Pokemon related, but not main series related, like the Go news, the Masters news, that kind of stuff. I'd be shocked if they announced really any game, because even Scarlet Violet is such a powerhouse in terms of sales and everything that I imagine if they're going to announce something, it would be DLC rather than any game announcement. That's my prediction.
Do you think it's too soon to announce DLC for that? Because it's still a relatively fresh game.
Nah, no way.
I think the shine's worn off enough that DLC would bring people back. I think if they left it... Actually, speaking of, I know this isn't in the document, but hey, Forza Horizon 5, where's the second DLC at? Anyway.
No, actually, they'll probably announce some sort of weird home support, so you can get like the Hisui and Pokemon into Gen 9.
Yeah, and there's going to be the 3DS store is ending soon, so they're going to have to announce something for Pokemon Bank, maybe.
Yeah, maybe actually. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they announced that Bank was approaching end of life.
No, they said
months.
They said. Maybe they did, but I'm pretty sure they said Bank is staying open past the 3DS store date. Like, as long as you have it downloaded, it's still supported and you can transfer things from Bank to home. And also, it'll just be every feature in Bank will be free since you can't pay for anything on it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of something that came out 18 months ago, so it's entirely possible that it was either changed or that you're just right, but can't have that. Anyway, yeah, that wraps the old news segment for this week. Apparently, we have an audience question. I'm pretty sure this was written in by Seth hastily, on the back of a kids menu at Denny's. Shoved.
You sure it's not Josh? He's also very aware of the things going on at the moment.
Why don't you just do us a solid and just read it out, Seth? We'll see if we can imagine it in your voice.
All right, fine. I will do you this one solid. Hey guys, why does Patrick hurt himself so much to make sure he gets the best time in Neon White? From a concerned viewer.
Is this person concerned about their own times of Neon White that may be inferior to Patrick?
I suspect that is the case. Yeah.
I don't want to speak for this concerned viewer, but I think they might just be concerned about Patrick's health and how he stayed up till 2:00 in the morning to beat sometimes.
And what would if you had to put yourself in the shoes of the concerned viewer, if I did stay up until 2 a.m. to beat someone's times, what would you think of that person whose times I was beating? Would you be like, wow, that person that Patrick's beating must be amazing if they made him stay up until 2 a.m.? Or what would you think, Seth?
I think they'd be putting up a fair fight, and that's why that Patrick had to stay up that late, and maybe they just need to get a little better so that it pushes Patrick to his best. The best Neon White player he can be.
You're the concerned viewer, aren't you?
What? No. Never.
He's very concerned for his own time.
I'd never be concerned about you, Patrick.
Well, he's a bad friend then. We got him.
Right, so I guess I have to answer. Actually, no, you know what? I'm going to let everyone else answer first. Steve, throwing it to you. Why do I hurt myself so much to make sure that I get the best times in Neon White?
You know what? I don't agree with it. Whoever this caller, this writer, this absolute coward that's not going to put his name on his submission. I think
it was Rim Giant, wasn't it?
Rim Job. I really think that whoever wrote this is actually feeling very hurt that you're just outskilling them and outplaying them. There, I said it. I've said my piece.
Brave words. Brave words from someone within wall distance.
I don't have any walls. I'm recording outside today. I'm sure you'll really like that. I'm just thinking
of King of the Hills. You're talking a lot of shit for someone in pocket sand range.
Hands off my purse.
I mean, I've never seen an episode of King of the Hill.
No, that's a Western anime.
I guess it's my turn to answer the question. And
if you insist, go on.
I think Patrick, much like Stu Pickles from hit show The Rugrats, has just kind of lost control of his life, and that's why he's up at 2:00 in the morning playing Neon White.
That's pretty funny, I guess. The niche reference. Pretty funny. What about you, Pat? Do you have to answer?
I don't know. Am I allowed to? I feel like it'd be cheating if I answered.
No, you go ahead and answer. Why do you hurt yourself so much to play Neon White?
because the pain makes me feel alive. And more importantly, number go up makes good chemical happen in my brain.
Especially
or I
if
guess
number
go down, technically.
Especially if number go down makes your rank go higher than friends.
It's true.
So
it's
Patrick,
true.
I have a follow-up question for this concerned viewer. How are you going to feel if you find out that you could have saved one frame and a friend found that one frame skip and beat you?
Well, then I guess I'm going to bed at 2 a.m. again tonight.
Rats.
Does the concerned friend know the level that this is on?
Oh no, it's purely hypothetical. It hasn't happened yet.
Of course. Yeah. I would hypothetically go to bed at 2 a.m. of course.
But you need your 8 hours of beauty sleep. If anybody needs their beauty sleep, it's you, Pat.
Oh, thanks. But I'm beautiful enough already. I want to share. I want to let other people catch up. You know. Don't call me a hero. I mean, you can, and I actively encourage it. But you don't have to. But you definitely should. But only if
You're
you
a
want
villain,
to,
Patrick.
I'm a beautiful villain, though. Anyway, hopefully that answers the question. Any other questions that people have, get in touch. We're on Facebook, Fast Travel Lounge, Twitter, at Fast Travel Lounge, minus one of the L's, the one that Elon continues to take. And as well as Gmail, Fast Travel Lounge at gmail.com. You're about to say something, Seth?
Yeah, I feel like Elon's confused the L for half a W.
Like what, Waluigi?
No, yeah, it's set to W for Wumbo.
Wombo.
Man, Elon was chewing on Twitter's wires again today.
He was.
Things were going very terribly on that website today.
The thing is, I feel like he does that most days. He just wakes up in the morning and he thinks, God, I could do with a good wire chewing today.
It's spicy, eh? As someone who's one rabbit in particular decided to, while I was watching him, decided to bite through the cord on the fan on a very hot day, in making it into 2 pieces. It is the spiciest hay of all.
It helps the teeth grow strong.
2 strong. Cutting through electricity.
3 strong, even.
Dangerous close to anime levels of rabbit.
Mario versus Rabbit, perhaps. I guess that's more of a plumber thing than an electrician.
Okay,
thing.
wrap us off.
You know what? You're right. That was stupid. That was on me. My bad. And what's equally bad is that we're at the end of episode 61. We're at the end of another episode, guys.
Yay.
You're just saying yay so you can go back to trying to beat my times in Neon White, aren't you?
No, I need dinner, and then I'll beat your times in Neon White.
Understandable. Right, well, I mean, as I said, you've been listening to episode 61. I've been Patrick. I've been joined by Seth and Steve, and we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.
Happy birthday, spelling mistake.